Chapter 591. Su Peijian stood there. After Su Qinghui left, she finally couldn't help it. Grandpa Hua, I'm not feeling well. I'll go back and rest first. After saying this with all her remaining grace, she quickly left. Hua Yifan hurriedly said goodbye to Old Master Hua, and quickly chased after her. Old Master Hua sat there, not understanding how things had turned out like this. It seemed that at this moment, he finally realized that something was wrong. Brother, what do you think? Hua Yangyuan and Hua Yangxiu both looked at Old Master Hua. Old Master Hua waved his hand. I was too impatient. Forget it, let's not talk about this for now. Yes. Nian Shuanya interrupted. In my opinion, there are many good girls in Rong City. It's not worth arguing with them. Old Master Hua glanced at him, his eyes a little cold. Nian Shuanya was momentarily embarrassed, and didn't speak anymore. Not long after Su Qingsang sent Li Qianxue away, she found that Su Qinghui was also leaving. Dad, you're leaving now? Su Qinghui looked at Su Qingsang with a complicated expression. He had just hurt another daughter's heart. But even so, he did feel guilty towards Su Qingsang. Qingsang, I've booked a plane ticket back to Lin City tomorrow. Your mother probably won't stay in Rong City for long. You have to take good care of yourself. Dad! Qingsang, what happened in the past was all my fault. I'm the one who let you down. When he scolded Su Peijian, did he have the right to do the same? A gentleman doesn't bully a dark room. He had a guilty conscience, and now he had to bear the consequences. He didn't want to see the sisters become enemies, but he couldn't stop it. Dad, it's all over. It's all over. Su Qinghui didn't know how to tell her. He looked at Su Qingsang, and suddenly reached out to hug her. Qingsang, don't hurt yourself. Don't let others hurt you. If someone bullies you, you can tell me. I'll definitely stand up for you. Su Qingsang was caught off guard by Su Qinghui, and was completely stunned. She didn't know how to react for a moment, so she just stood there in a daze. Su Qinghui patted her on the back. After thinking for a long time, he said, Be careful of Peijian. He didn't finish his sentence, but he believed that Su Qingsang would understand. Judging from Su Qingsang's performance today, she wasn't the kind of person who would be bullied by others, so he was more or less relieved. She looked behind her, and saw that Hua Jinyao had appeared out of nowhere, and was standing behind Su Qingsang. Su Qinghui gave him a look that both of them could understand. Hua Jinyao nodded. Su Qinghui let go of her, and looked at Su Qingsang with guilt in his eyes. In the corridor, the cold wind from the air conditioner made their arms feel a little cold. After Su Qinghui left, Su Qingsang couldn't help but glance at Hua Jinyao. What happened to my father? Hua Jinyao glanced at Su Qingsang, and told her the latest news. Your father rejected Grandpa's proposal. He was against Su Peijian marrying into the Hua family. What? It was Su Qingsang's turn to be shocked. Hua Jinyao wasn't the only one who got the news. Lu Tongjia felt a little suffocated. Compared with Old Master Hua's misunderstanding, she knew Su Peijian's true intentions better. She wanted to make things difficult for Su Qingsang, and see Su Qingsang make a fool of herself. On the one hand, she was afraid that Su Qingsang would really make a fool of herself and embarrass the Hua family. On the other hand, she hated Su Peijian for not knowing what to do. She messed around on such an important occasion. No one else knew about it. In the end, Su Qingsang handled it perfectly. She should feel relieved, but she felt uncomfortable again. The better Su Qingsang behaved, the more uncomfortable she felt. Because she always thought of Su Qingsang hugging Zhang Yichen. That feeling made Lu Tongjia feel as if there was a fishbone stuck in her throat. It was really uncomfortable. What's wrong? Hua Mingguang noticed that Lu Tongjia didn't look good. Are you not feeling well? No. Lu Tongjia shook her head. She thought of something else. Su Qinghui is sensible. He knows that his daughter is an illegitimate daughter, and doesn't deserve the Hua family, so he came to stop it. But isn't this a slap in the face? Su Peijian was an illegitimate daughter, and didn't deserve Hua Yifan. But wasn't Su Qingsang also an illegitimate daughter? She married Hua Jinyao. What did that mean? Could it be that in Su Qinghui's heart, her son couldn't be compared to Hua Yifan? Hua Mingguang was a shrewd businessman. Thinking of something, he shook his head. I think you're thinking too much. There might be an inside story. What inside story? Lu Tongjia was already in a bad mood. That made her even more uncomfortable. What's wrong with my son? He doesn't want his illegitimate daughter to marry Hu Yifan. But he wants his illegitimate daughter to marry Jiniao? Is he looking down on people? Hua Mingguang was stunned for a moment and glanced at Lu Tongjia. Are you feeling sorry for Jiniao? This was a rare occurrence. How many years had it been? Who wants to feel sorry for him? Lu Tongjia didn't want to admit that her mood had been affected. I just can't bear to see his family have such double standards. Really? Hua Mingguang's voice was full of understanding. He had been married to Lu Tongjia for many years. How could he not know what she was thinking at this time? She could dislike her child, but she couldn't let others dislike him. Tell Jiniao later that this place is close to the old house. Let him live at home. I don't want to. If you want to tell him, you do it. Lu Tongjia didn't respond. She saw Su Qingseng and Hua Jiniao standing hand in hand from afar. They seemed to be very intimate, and she felt a little upset. Su Peijian wasn't good enough for Hu Yifan. Could Su Qingseng be good enough for Hua Jiniao? Thinking of this, Lu Tongjia's voice became colder. He wants to go home anyway. With a wife, parents are nothing. Hua Mingguang was stunned for a moment, then suddenly laughed again. His wife was good at everything, but she was soft-hearted. Forget it, let him do it. Su Qingseng looked at Li Qianxue, her eyes full of reluctance. Mom, can't you stay for a few more days? 2 days had passed since the anniversary celebration, and Li Qianxue had been with Su Qingseng for 2 days. She had booked a ticket for today, and it would be flying in half an hour. I want to, but I have something to do at the company. I have to go back. Li Qianxue raised her hand and stroked Su Qingseng's cheek. Her eyes were a little emotional. Well, it's only 2 hours from Lin City to Rong City. I'll come to see you next time. You can also go back to Lin City. Okay. After Yusin's college entrance examination, you can come back and stay for a few days. The 3 of us will find a place to go out and play. Okay. Su Qingseng nodded. Her eyes were already red. Li Qianxue looked at her, wanting to say something but hesitating. She wanted to ask Su Qingseng why she wanted to see Xiang Kaiping several times. But in the end, she remained silent. Just as she had said to Su Peijian, it was a good thing that Su Qingseng valued relationships. Although she didn't like her contacting Xiang Kaiping or seeing Xiang Kaiping. Qingseng, if Peijian bullies you, you have to tell me. Mom, you're thinking too much. How can she bully me? Su Qingseng thought of what happened at the anniversary celebration. Hua Jiniao told her everything. There was obvious worry in Li Qianxue's eyes. She only realized that Su Qingseng was kind and magnanimous after she recognized her daughter. Su Peijian might not be bad by nature, but now she had gone astray. She was afraid that she was no longer the daughter she used to be. Okay, don't see me out. I'm going in. Li Qianxue was about to walk to the VIP passage when Su Qingseng suddenly stopped her. Mom. Yes. My dad. Seeing that Li Qianxue frowned when she heard Su Qinghui's name, Su Qingseng cleared her throat. Mom, let me tell you something. She told Li Qianxue what Su Qinghui did that day. Su Qingseng looked at her with some caution. Dad, he's doing this to protect me. And you know Su Peijian cares about her reputation the most. Now that she was slapped in the face by my dad, she must have suffered a great blow. So, you don't have to say good things about him. Li Qianxue didn't accept Su Qinghui's kindness at all. These things were done by him. If it weren't for him, these things wouldn't have happened today. No matter how much he does for you, it's what he should do. Mom, okay, don't talk about him. I don't want to hear his name. Su Qingseng didn't say anything. Li Qianxue turned and walked straight to the VIP passage. When her back was facing Su Qingseng, her face wasn't as calm as she appeared to be. Su Qinghui, what was he up to this time? Su Peijian marrying Hu Yifan was far more beneficial than harmful to Su Qinghui. Moreover, Su Peijian was his beloved daughter. But now he was giving her up just like that. Heh, men. Su Qinghui treated his own daughter like this. How could he treat her with sincerity? Su Qinghui had no idea at all. He wanted to make up for it. But he did it out of guilt, which caused Li Qianxue to misunderstand again. This made it even more difficult for him to pursue his wife in the future. After sending Li Qianxue away, no matter how reluctant Su Qingsang was, she had to let her life go back to normal. Because Su Qinghui came to Rong City, Su Qingsang went to see Xiang Kaiping again. She didn't mean anything else. She just wanted to test if Su Qinghui really didn't have feelings for Xiang Kaiping. If Su Qinghui came to see Xiang Kaiping, then she swore that no matter what Su Qinghui did in the future, she would never say a word for him in front of Li Qianxue. However, the result of the test made her more or less relieved. Xiang Kaiping was also very resistant to Su Qinghui and couldn't bear to hear her mention his name. That was good. It showed that Su Qinghui still had some sincerity for Li Qianxue. In fact, no matter who Su Qinghui was with, Su Qingsang planned to help no one and do nothing. But she still hoped that Su Qinghui could really think clearly about who he loved. Putting these things behind her, Su Qingsang resumed her life in the hospital, at home, and at the Hua family's old house. However, she didn't expect that she would soon be busy again. Old Master Hua sat in the study. He looked at Hua Jinyao sitting opposite him. It had been a week since the anniversary. Su Peixian and Hua Yifun's marriage didn't continue, as if it had been delayed. He returned to the Hua family's mansion on the weekend, and still brought Su Peixian over. Old Master Hua was still polite on the surface, but he didn't mention her marriage to Hua Yifun again. Su Peixian was secretly resentful. She, who was holding back her anger, and she and Hua Yifun got the contract that they had been negotiating with the company they had privately opened. Hua Jinyao had been waiting for Su Peixian and Hua Yifun to sign the contract. As soon as Hua Yifun signed the contract, he came to see Old Master Hua with the contract. Jinyao, you came at the right time today. I happen to have something to talk to you about. Old Master Hua saw the document bag in Hua Jinyao's hand just now. What do you think about Su Peixian and Yifun's marriage? Su Qinghui said that day. Old Master Hua had lived to such an old age, and had experienced many things. He could understand some things just by thinking about it. That was also the reason why he was indifferent to Su Peixian that day. It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is, Grandpa, don't you have an answer? Hearing Hua Jinyao's words, Old Master Hua suddenly smiled. You, Grandpa, I'm here today for another matter. Hua Jinyao opened the document bag in his hand, took out all the documents inside, and placed them in front of Old Master Hua one by one. Not only was there the contract that Hua Yifun had just signed with the company, but there was also all the investigation information. Old Master Hua picked it up and glanced at it briefly. His expression immediately changed. By the time he finished reading all the documents, the expression on his face was quite ugly. He kept panting heavily, and his face swelled to a purplish red. Hua Jinyao quickly stood up and went forward to pat his chest. Grandpa, don't be angry. If you are like this, I'm afraid I won't be able to tell you what will happen next. Old Master Hua patted his chest and kept calming down. When he calmed down, he looked at Hua Jinyao. You knew it long ago, didn't you? Yes. Hua Jinyao looked calm. I knew it a long time ago. I knew it the moment Su Peixian planned to marry into the Hua family. Good, very good. Old Master Hua's hands were trembling. You knew it a long time ago, but you didn't tell me? Hua Jinyao's expression didn't change. Grandpa, you should be glad that I only came to tell you, and not to directly hand this over to the board of directors. Although the Hua family held the largest share of the Tianyu group, it wasn't that there were no other shareholders. If this evidence was handed over to the company, Hua Yifun would probably be in trouble. This unfilial son. Unfilial son. Old Master Hua cursed several times in a row. When he calmed down, he patted his chest and looked at Hua Jinyao. Tell me, what else do you think I don't know? Hua Jinyao let go of his hand and returned to his seat. Grandpa, you already know about Qingsang and Su Peixian's background. I admit that Su Peixian is extremely capable and resourceful. However, she is too scheming, and there is a grudge between her and Qingsang. It's impossible for her to get along with Qingsang. What do you mean? Are you saying that she has occupied Qingsang's identity for so many years, and she still doesn't think it's enough? Grandpa, from our perspective, we would say that Su Peixian has occupied Qingsang's identity for more than 20 years. But from Su Peijian's perspective, she wouldn't think that way. She would only think about it. Why was it that she couldn't be a proper young miss anymore, and became an illegitimate daughter? In her heart, she wouldn't think about what she had before. She would only think about what she had lost now. And Qingsang was the culprit who caused her to lose everything. Old Master Hu's face was cold, and he didn't say anything. Hu Jingyao sighed. She has resentment and anger in her heart. He had to vent his anger eventually. To her, marrying Yifan is just a springboard. In fact, you might not know what happened that day. Qingsang doesn't know how to play the piano at all. So why did Su Peijian let her go on stage? Old Master Hu was a smart person. What else did he not understand? You mean, she wants to marry into the Hu family, and then find an opportunity to deal with Qingsang? Yes. Although I'm not sure what she plans to do. I'm sure that she has an ulterior motive. Old Master Hu didn't say anything else. Some things once exposed were no longer the same. Then you mean? Grandpa, I'm not an intolerant person. But some things are my bottom line. You want me to stop Yifan and Su Peijian's marriage. Old Master Hu didn't want Su Peijian to be with Hu Yifan anymore. No. Hu Jingyao shook his head. I don't want you to stop it. In fact, it doesn't matter to us whether Su Peijian marries Hu Yifan or not. Then, because if I kick Hu Yifan out of the Hu family, Hu Yifan will no longer be a member of the Hu family. Old Master Hu stood up and said, Jingyao. Jingyao you. Hu Jingyao's expression didn't change, but his gaze was unusually sharp. Shouldn't a traitor be expelled from the family? Jingyao, he's your cousin. Yes, he's my cousin, so I just expelled him from the family. Jingyao. Old Master Hu was old. Even though he knew that Hu Yifan had done wrong to the company and the Hu family, he was still his grandson. But that was his grandson after all. He hoped to see a happy family. Grandpa. Actually, I have harsher methods to deal with Hu Yifan. But I didn't. Because I don't think you want me to do that. He stood up, put the documents on the table back into the file bag. But Hu Yifan, I want to teach him a lesson. Old Master Hu's face was red. He panted, and his emotions were very complicated. Jingyao, he's your younger brother. Your brothers. When he schemed against me, he didn't treat me as a brother. Old Master Hu didn't say anything. He cleared his throat and said in a trembling voice, I know this is his fault, but he doesn't deserve to die. I didn't want him to die. I just wanted him to leave Tianyu Group and the Hu family. Hu Jingyao put away all the documents and gently knocked on the table. Grandpa, everything else can be discussed, but this is the only thing that can't be discussed. Old Master Hu didn't say anything. He looked at Hu Jingyao. He had grown up and was no longer the little boy who was willing to listen to him. Chapter 592. Ruthless. Old Master Hu's words made Hu Jingyao laugh. He knocked on the table playfully and leaned forward to look at Old Master Hu. If I really wanted to be ruthless, this information would have appeared in the hands of the board of directors, not on your table. Which big family didn't have one or two prodigal sons? Which family didn't have one or two secrets? But no matter which family it was, they would not allow such a traitor to exist. Especially Hu Yifan. He was already the vice president of Tianyu Group. He had both status and power. Moreover, he also had shares in Tianyu Group. Yet he still did such a thing. If he had been more ruthless, and the truth had blown up, what would have happened to Hu Yifan? How could Old Master Hu not know? He just couldn't bear it. But how will Yifan survive after leaving the Hu family? That's his business. Hu Jingyao's voice was slightly cold. Grandpa, you don't have to worry so much about him. After all, he has Su Peijian, who is smart and powerful behind him. Don't you agree? Old Master Hu suddenly nodded. I see. You didn't want Su Peijian to marry into the Hu family. So you used this method? If Hu Yifan left the Hu family, he would no longer be part of the Hu family. What did it matter if Su Peijian married Hu Yifan or not? In order to protect Qingsang, you really are willing to do anything. Old Master Hu's tone wasn't very good. He didn't want to vent his anger on anyone, but he felt that Hu Jingyao was too ruthless. Of course. Thinking of Su Qingsang, Hu Jingyao smiled faintly. Everyone had a bottom line. His bottom line was Su Qingsang. He would never turn a blind eye to what Su Peijian had done to Su Qingsang. What he needed to do was to shatter Su Peijian's beautiful dream. Didn't she want to marry Hu Yifan? Then go and get married. She married Hu Yifan, who had left the Hu family. What he was more curious about was whether Hu Yifan, who had left Tianyu Group, would still let Su Peijian marry him willingly. Hu Jingyao was in a good mood after leaving old Master Hu's study. On his way downstairs he ran into Lu Tongjia. Seeing that it was her, the good mood on Hu Jingyao's face immediately disappeared. "Mom." Hu Jingyao greeted Lu Tongjia blandly, then walked past her to go downstairs. "Stop right there." Lu Tongjia looked at Hu Jingyao. She felt upset again. On the day of the anniversary, Hu Mingguang asked Hu Jingyao to stay at home, but he didn't. Later, she found out that Li Qianxue had come to Rong City to stay with Hu Jingyao and Su Qingseng. Hu Jingyao and Su Qingseng wanted to go back to accompany Li Qianxue. Lu Tongjia was furious when she found out about this. Look. She raised a good son. People say that girls look good. It was not much different for her to have a son here. Not only did she value her wife more than her mother, but she also valued her mother-in-law more than her mother. "Is your mother-in-law still in Rong City?" "Nope. She took yesterday's flight back." "Back?" Lu Tongjia nodded. "Your mother-in-law sure is arrogant. She came to Rong City, but didn't visit us. She didn't even greet us when she went back. What? Does she look down on the Hu family?" Hu Jingyao finally turned his eyes to Lu Tongjia, his expression cold. "Mom, you also care about whether they come to visit or not. Do you think they like our family?" "What do you mean?" His attitude made Lu Tongjia angry. "Why can't I care? If you say you can, then you can." Hu Jingyao didn't refute. "However, you framed Qingseng like that in order to ruin her reputation. It would be strange if she was willing to visit us. You." Lu Tongjia didn't expect him to still hold a grudge against her last time. "What's with your attitude? How did I frame her? If she didn't have an affair with someone, I wouldn't have had the chance to frame her." Hu Jingyao frowned slightly, looking at Lu Tongjia's agitated face. He didn't have any hope and didn't want to argue with her. "I know whether she had an affair or not. You don't have to be agitated. You don't have to think of a way to frame Qingseng, because no matter what you do, I will believe her." Lu Tongjia watched as Hu Jingyao ran away after saying that. She felt a breath stuck in her chest, making her uncomfortable. Apart from the uncomfortable feeling, she also felt a hidden sadness. Su Qingseng looked at Hu Jingyao and found that he seemed to be in a good mood today. "Did something good happen?" "Something good." Hu Jingyao pulled her waist into his arms and let her nestle against his chest. "What good thing?" "I helped you take a little revenge on Su Peijian." Su Qingseng heard Hu Jingyao's words and widened her eyes. This was a little revenge? This was completely cutting off all of Su Peijian's escape routes, okay? With Su Peijian's personality, she was afraid that she would go crazy. However, thinking about Su Peijian's disappointed look, she actually felt a little happy. Wasn't she being a little bad now? Not bad at all. Hu Jingyao didn't want her to be soft on Su Peijian. She just can't marry into the Hu family. If she wants, she can still be with Hu Yifan. It won't affect her much. I don't want you to pity her. Su Qingseng shook her head. She didn't pity Su Peijian. There must be something hateful about a pitiful person. Su Peijian had already bullied her. How could she just swallow it? But this move of yours is really cruel. She didn't know what Su Peijian would do next. Be careful these days. Hu Jingyao suddenly became serious. Don't go home too late. Even if you are on duty in the hospital, try not to be alone. I don't want Su Peijian to have a chance to do anything to you. I don't think so. Su Peijian wouldn't break the law just to deal with him, would she? It's hard to say. If Su Peijian was really willing to settle down, he was willing to let it go. I'll talk to Yang Wenchang tomorrow and ask him to arrange 2 bodyguards for you. Stop it. Su Qingseng glared at him. She was a doctor. Did she have to bring 2 bodyguards when she went out? It would be strange if she didn't scare away those patients. Anyway, I go home and the hospital every day. I don't go anywhere else. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Moreover, Su Peijian was such a smart person. Why would she do something illegal? She shouldn't be that stupid. Anyway, you can't go wrong being careful. He didn't trust Hu Yifan and Su Peijian's characters. Of course, he would definitely ask Yang Wenchang to continue to keep an eye on Su Peijian. No matter what Su Peijian wanted to do, he wouldn't let her get what she wanted. Su Qingseng didn't object. She was sure that Su Peijian wouldn't really do anything extreme. After all, she was a smart person. She wouldn't be stupid enough to put herself in trouble. Oh right. Su Qingseng suddenly sat up straight as if she had thought of something. You said you shouldn't be alone. I forgot to tell you something. What? Su Qingseng tilted her head to look at him. Her pink cheeks were blushing. Her expression seemed to be a bit conflicted. I'm going on a business trip. I'll be gone for about half a month. The first hospital of Rong City had started a cooperation project with several hospitals in S province. They were going to S province for a free medical exchange. Su Qingseng's performance in the past few months in the hospital was remarkable. Sun Huiya strongly recommended her to go to S province. When Su Qingseng found out, the list had already been made. You know, Director Sun has always thought highly of me. This time it's the same. She's already named me. There's no way I won't go. S province. Hua Jinyao's first reaction was to think of one thing. S province. Wasn't that? Yes. Which city? C city. C city? It wasn't the same place. But there were accidents and everything. Su Qingseng blinked. You're not happy? A little. Hua Jinyao wrapped his arms around her waist and pressed his chin against her neck. I don't want you to go. Su Qingseng hugged him, tilted her head and kissed him on the cheek. I don't want to go either. But I have no choice. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything and tightened his arms. Su Qingseng couldn't help but kiss him on the cheek again. Alright, it'll be quick. I'll be back in half a month. Honey, half a month is a long time. Then, why don't you go with me? Su Qingseng joked. I'll apply to the hospital. I can't bring a family member, but I still need a driver. Why don't you come to our hospital and be a driver? You're getting bold. Hua Jinyao reached out and pinched her cheek. You dare to ask me to be your chauffeur? Can't I? Yes. Hua Jinyao rubbed her cheek. Seeing that her face had turned red because of his action, he couldn't help but lean over and kiss her. All right. Go if you want to. I support you. Hua Yifun's departure from Tianyu was imperative. There would be news about it by tomorrow at the latest. The departure of a vice president was not a small matter, especially for a large corporation like Tianyu. Next, whether it was Su Peijian or Hua Yifun, there would be some moves. In fact, he also believed that Su Peijian wouldn't dare to do anything to Su Qingseng openly, but he was afraid that she would do something secretly. Under such circumstances, it would be a good thing for Su Qingseng to leave Rong City. But after you go, you must be careful. I know. Su Qingseng knew that he would agree, but she was still quite happy. That was the best thing about Hua Jinyao. He looked a little strong and chauvinistic, but at critical times, he would always stand behind her and support her decisions. She couldn't help but raise her head and gently kiss his chin. Hua Jinyao, thank you. I don't really like this thank you gift. Hua Jinyao picked her up, left the sofa and walked to the room. I'll be more satisfied if you change your thank you gift. Su Qingseng's face was a little hot, but she took the initiative to put her arms around his neck and let him carry her back to the room. What did you say? Hua Yifun looked at the person in front of him with a shocked expression. Chapter 593. The atmosphere in the office was depressing. Hua Yifun's voice had changed. Say that again. Hua Jinyao sat behind his desk and calmly watched Hua Yifun's face change. Even if I say it 100 times, it will still be the same. Hua Yifun, from today onwards, you're no longer the vice president of Tianyu Group. I was fired. Ridiculous. How could Hua Yifun accept such a thing? Who agreed? Who gave you the right? Let me tell you. Do you think that just because you say you're fired, I'm going to leave? Yes. All I have to do is fire you, and you want to leave. Hua Jinyao, don't go too far. Hua Yifun's face darkened. He glared at Hua Jinyao with hatred, as if he wanted to burn a hole in his body. You are a descendant of the Hua family, and so am I. You have contributed to the group. And I have also contributed to the group. What right do you have to drive me away? Because of this. As Hua Jinyao spoke, he placed the document that he had shown old Master Hua in front of Hua Yifun. Hua Yifun picked it up and casually glanced at it. His expression suddenly became even more unsightly. He slammed the document in his hand on the table and pointed at Hu Jingyao, his face full of resentment. You, Hu Jingyao, you set me up? Yes, I set you up. Hu Jingyao, you set me up? Hu Yifan was so angry that he repeated the same sentence twice. Hu Jingyao rubbed the tip of his nose and nodded. Yes, I set you up. Can't I? I'm your younger brother. You're welcome, cousin. You, Hu Yifan nodded angrily. Finally, he pointed at Hu Jingyao's face and said, Fine. Even if I run a company outside, even if I poach someone from the company, I will still be able to pay for it. But does Grandpa know that you're plotting against me? Sorry, Grandpa knows. Looking at his flustered and exasperated look, Hu Jingyao only found it funny. Do you think Grandpa will tolerate it? Let me tell you, it was my grandfather's idea to kick you out of Tianyu Group. Impossible. Hu Yifan didn't believe it at all. Grandpa is old. He likes to see a harmonious family. He won't agree. Hu Yifan. Hu Yifan stood up abruptly and sneered. You also know that Grandpa is old? Since you know Grandpa is old, why do you still do such a thing? Do you know that when Grandpa saw these things he was so angry that he almost had a heart attack? And now you're telling me that Grandpa is old? Don't you find it ridiculous? Then why don't you show this to Grandpa? Hu Yifan gritted his teeth. He never thought that Hu Jingyao would have such a trick up his sleeve. He just wanted to suppress Hu Jingyao, but he didn't expect such a result. Why don't I show it to Grandpa? Hu Jingyao sat back down and admired the depressed look on Hu Yifan's face. I don't want to waste my breath on you. Anyway, from today onwards, you're no longer the vice president of Tianyu Group. I will find someone else to fill your position. You. Hu Yifan knew that Hu Jingyao was telling the truth. There was no turning back. He stood there, his heart filled with unwillingness and anger. This was not the result he wanted, nor was this the result he had predicted. Hu Jingyao, do you have to do this? Yes. Hu Jingyao wasn't polite at all. That's not all. I can also tell you that Grandpa said, from today onwards, you are no longer a member of the Hu family. What did you say? Hu Yifan's expression had completely changed this time, as if he had squeezed the words out from between his teeth. I said from today onwards, you are no longer a member of the Hu family. This can't be Grandpa's idea, right? Grandfather Hu might kick him out of the company when he was angry, but he would never remove him from the Hu family. Hu Jingyao was the only one who could come up with such an evil plan. Yes, that's what I mean. Hu Jingyao, don't forget. Your surname is Hua, so is mine. If your surname wasn't Hua, I would have known. How can you stand here and talk to me with such an attitude? He knew that Hu Yifan wouldn't give up. Hu Jingyao didn't mind teaching him another lesson. No matter how Hu Yifan argued with Hu Jingyao, he knew that he had lost this time. Before leaving Tianyu, Hu Yifan still wanted to try one more time. Hu Jingyao, if possible, can you let Yang take over my position? He doesn't know about me. Hu Jingyao suddenly smiled. That smile was sarcastic. Hu Yifan, you still want to negotiate with me at this time? Hu Yifan's face was pale. Hu Jingyao didn't mind stabbing him again. Even you can't beat me. Do you think Hua Yang can beat me? Hearing that, Hu Yifan's face became more and more pale. When Su Peijian entered the room, she smelled alcohol. She furrowed her brows. What's wrong? The contract has been signed. You don't seem happy. In order to spite Su Qingsang, she brought forward the plan. The two of them started the company they privately opened and signed the contract the day before yesterday. Today Hu Jingyao was drinking. Happy. Hu Yifan's eyes were bloodshot. He stared at Su Peijian with his eyes wide open. Do you really not know, or are you pretending not to know? What? Ha ha ha. Hu Yifan put the glass in his hand heavily on the table. I was played by Hu Jingyao. For the past few years, I've been thinking about why I lost to him. I've always wanted to prove myself. I want to prove that I'm better than him. But what happened in reality? Hu Yifan swept an empty wine bottle on the table to the ground. I was played by Hu Jingyao. Do you know? I'm no longer the vice president of Tianyu Group. I was even kicked out of the Hu family. Kicked out of the Hu family. How dare they do this to me? Su Peijian watched him lose control, and her brows furrowed so tightly that a mosquito could be squeezed to death. What's going on? Don't be crazy. Tell me clearly. Didn't I make it clear enough? Okay. Then I'll say it again. I thought what I did was flawless. But Hu Jingyao knew everything from the beginning to the end. He knew it all along. He knew what I was doing outside. He knew that I was running a company outside. Do you even know the company that signed a contract with me? Those were all traps set by Hu Jingyao. Let me tell you, me and you, we were all played by Hu Jingyao. Impossible. Su Peijian's expression didn't look good. How could this be? Yes. I also want to know how this could be. Hu Yifan stood up as he spoke. He stood in front of Su Peijian. Tell me, why did this happen? Su Peijian couldn't answer this question. She knew that Hu Jingyao wasn't an ordinary person when she was in Lin City, but she didn't expect him to be so powerful. Calm down first. Things haven't gotten to the worst yet. Maybe there will be a turn for the better? A turn for the better? What turn for the better? Hu Yifan sneered. His face, which was red from drinking, was full of anger. Let me tell you, there won't be a turn for the better. Because my grandfather already knows. Do you hear me clearly? Grandfather already knows. Hu Jingyao was too ruthless. He didn't even leave him a way out. Su Peijian didn't say anything. Hu Yifan took 2 steps back and sat on the sofa weakly. He poured another glass of wine and began to drink. However, after he drank 2 glasses, Su Peijian suddenly grabbed his hand. Hu Yifan, pull yourself together. Things haven't gotten to that point yet. Oh, haven't gotten to that point yet? Tell me. I was already kicked out of the Hu family. How far can it go? How far do you think it can go? He pushed Su Peijian's hand away. Su Peijian took a step back. She stood back again, but her expression was even more unsightly than before. Hu Yifan, no wonder you can't beat Hu Jingyao in this state. When he was framed by you, he didn't drink to drown his sorrows. Su Peijian. Hu Yifan stood up and glared fiercely at the person in front of him. What did you say? What did I say? I said no wonder you can't beat Hu Jingyao. With your current appearance, it's impossible for you to beat him. You. Hu Yifan's hand was raised and was about to fall. Su Peijian didn't retreat. Come. Hit. Hit here. Hit here. She raised her face and faced Hu Yifan. Hu Yifan looked at her and suddenly put down his hand. Okay. I can't beat Hu Jingyao. I can't beat him. Since you admire him so much, you can go with him. Su Peijian sneered. You don't have to chase me away. I'll leave now. Hu Yifan, let me tell you, you can continue to drink here and continue to live a drunken life. I, Su Peijian, am blind to marry a coward like you. After saying this, she left without looking back. When Su Qingseng got off the plane, she felt the heat wave hitting her face. Rong City was located in the north. After the Dragon Boat Festival, the temperature wasn't high. City C, located in Province S, was in the middle of China. After the Dragon Boat Festival, the weather here was considered hot. It's so hot. Sun Huiya was born and raised in Rong City. She couldn't stand it as soon as she got off the plane. Su Qingseng smiled and looked at the long-sleeved knitted shirt on Sun Huiya's body. Director Sun, I reminded you. Yes, you did remind me, but I'm old. I'm always a little afraid of the cold. I didn't expect the weather here to be like this. It's okay. When we get to the dormitory later, change your clothes first. Then have a good rest. This time, they were working with Renha Hospital in City C. It was also the largest hospital in the area. They had arranged rooms for them in the hospital dormitory, and there was a welcome banquet tonight. Okay. Sun Huiya nodded and followed Su Qingseng into the car that came to pick them up. Su Qingseng didn't have much luggage. It was just a small suitcase. However, Sun Huiya had a big suitcase. Su Qingseng took the initiative to help her with the suitcase. You have so few things. Sun Huiya glanced at Su Qingseng. Did you bring enough clothes? Su Qingseng smiled and was a little embarrassed. My husband said that carrying too much luggage was tiring. He told me to buy whatever I need here. Tisk. Dr. Su, are you showing off your love in front of us? Ling Fei, who came with them, heard it and joked with Su Qingseng. That's right. He's showing off his love in front of us. Zheng Chenyu, who came with them, also clicked his tongue. He thought about how everyone saw Hu Jingyao personally send Su Qingsang to the airport this morning, and how the two of them were inseparable at the airport. It's good to just get married. This relationship is so good. Sun Huya also teased. Su Qingsang felt more and more uncomfortable. It's not really just married. Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed. We've been married for almost a year. Su Qingsang was stunned when she said this. Yes. Thinking about it seriously, it was almost a year since she and Hu Jingyao got married. It would be the 1-year anniversary in about 10 days, right? If that was the case, wouldn't their wedding anniversary not be together? After all, she still had to stay here for half a month. Her heart was a little gloomy. This was their first wedding anniversary, but the two of them couldn't be together. Thinking about it seriously, they got married so casually. Maybe Hu Jingyao didn't even remember this day? Su Qingsang suddenly felt a little stifled. However, her heart couldn't stay stifled for long. In the following time, she, Sun Huya, and all the doctors who came to Rong City with them began to get busy. Renha Hospital in Sea City was famous and had many patients. It didn't lose to the first hospital of Rong City at all, especially since they also had cooperation with many units. On the third day of their arrival, they encountered a unit that arranged for people to come for a physical examination. There were many women in this unit. With more women, there were more gynecology-related items to be examined. Su Qingsang and Sun Huya had originally arranged for outpatients today, but now, they all went to help. After this wave of people finished the examination, almost 2 days had passed. 2 days later, there was another random inspection. Even if they were here for an exchange, they all became busy. In the blink of an eye, Su Qingsang had been here for a week. Tonight, she had to do a summary of this week's work. Sun Huya wasn't young anymore. Such a busy day was a little too much for her. Su Qingsang took the initiative to ask her to rest, and Sun Huya didn't refuse. She said that she would host the exchange and cooperation meeting at night. Su Qingsang nodded and picked up her notebook. She originally wanted to go back to the temporary office they arranged to prepare. Unexpectedly, as soon as she walked out of the corridor, she met a group of people in front of her in a hurry. The man in the lead stunned her for a moment. He held his notebook and stood there without moving. Uncle, Zhang Yichen was holding a pregnant woman in his arms. When he saw Su Qingsang, he was stunned. Why are you here? Su Qingsang looked at the pregnant woman in his arms. There was already blood flowing from her lower body. She waved her hand and said, Let's not talk about that first. What's the situation? Not only Zhang Yichen, but there were also several soldiers standing behind him. Everyone looked nervous. She fell just now. She seems to be in danger now. Hurry up and save her. Zhang Yichen didn't have time to explain more, so he quickly explained the situation. Su Qingsang glanced at Zhang Yichen. The first thought in her mind was that Hu Jingyao's uncle was too lucky. Why did he always encounter people who tried to blackmail him? She didn't have time to think about other things at the moment. She hurriedly waved her hand. Come on this way. Arrange for someone to do the procedure. I'll examine her first. Okay. Zhang Yichen breathed a sigh of relief and carried the pregnant woman into the consulting room Su Qingsang arranged. Su Qingsang pulled the curtain to examine the pregnant woman. Before the curtain was closed, Zhang Yichen called her. Qingsang, you have to save her and the baby in her belly. Su Qingsang glanced at him and felt the seriousness in his eyes. She nodded. She silently closed the curtain. After the examination, she quickly walked out of the room. She's in bad condition. She needs a cesarean section. I'll arrange for the operation now. Don't worry. Her life should not be in danger for now. Can you do the operation yourself? Su Qingsang was stunned. They were here to exchange and learn. It was not impossible for her to do the operation, but it needed to be arranged by the higher-ups. I trust you. Zhang Yichen stared at her face. The trust in his eyes made Su Qingsang unable to think about anything else. She nodded. Okay, I'll do the operation. Su Qingsang had had cesarean sections many times. It was not a big operation for her. However, when the pregnant woman entered the operating room, she found that her condition was a bit complicated. Her blood was Rh negative. The hospital's blood bank only had 2 units of Rh-negative blood. The pregnant woman had lost too much blood. At least 4 units of blood had to be transfused. She reported the situation. The only thing she could do was to try her best to save the pregnant woman's life. She didn't know how the outside coordinated. Anyway, in the time she estimated, someone sent Rh-negative blood. A few hours later, Su Qingsang came out of the operating room. She was in a strange operating room with a strange assistant and a strange person. Fortunately, they cooperated well. When she came out, she found Zhang Yichen, and the other soldiers were still waiting outside. Su Qingsang took off her mask. Zhang Yichen was already standing in front of her. How is it? How is she? Both mother and daughter are safe. Su Qingsang saw the anxious look on Zhang Yichen's face. But the baby is less than 8 months old. It is very fragile now. She needs to stay in the incubator for a few days for observation. Okay. What about the adult? The anesthesia is still there. She will probably wake up later. Su Qingsang glanced at Zhang Yichen. He was still in his military uniform. His chest was covered in blood. But he didn't seem to care at all. Thinking of what happened between him and her in the Hua family's old house, she felt a little awkward. Although she had been drugged and drunk before she did that, she was still Zhang Yichen's elder sister. Su Qingsang cleared her throat to divert his attention. Oh right. Why were you so careless? And you ran into her again? Su Qingsang wasn't joking. You are so lucky. You run into her every time. It's not luck. Zhang Yichen's expression was serious. He looked at Su Qingsang with a touch of pain in his eyes. She is the family of a martyr. Last week her husband died. Su Qingsang was stunned. She saw the pain in Zhang Yichen's eyes. He was your comrade? Zhang Yichen nodded almost imperceptibly. He was his comrade and his subordinate. Last week he died in the line of duty. Before he died, he happily told them that he was going to be a father soon. However, before he could become a father, something happened to him. His wife received the news yesterday and rushed over today. She came to take him home. But she was too emotional when she saw the cold tombstone. She accidentally fell on her way down the hill. They went back to the city. The nearest hospital was Renha Hospital, so they sent the pregnant woman here. She will be fine, right? His comrade was the only child in his family. The newborn child was the only child left behind by the other party. Su Qingsang's eyes were a little wet. She nodded and said, "Don't worry. The operation was successful. They will be fine." Zhang Yichen breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at Su Qingsang's surgical gown and asked, "Why are you here?" "Our hospital organized us to come here for a learning exchange." Su Qingsang seemed to have just realized that she was wearing a surgical gown. She awkwardly cleared her throat. "It's done. The operation here is done. I still have something to do. If you want, you can go to the nursery over there to see the baby." "Thank you, Qingsang." Zhang Yichen thanked her very seriously. Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed. "You're welcome. It's my job." Moreover, he was a family member of a martyr. Su Qingsang had high respect for people like him. "Well, if there's nothing else, I'll leave now. Uncle, please help yourself." She turned to leave, not noticing that Zhang Yichen's eyes lingered on her back for a few seconds. The way she called him uncle made his heart ache. He looked away and glanced at the soldiers behind him. "Let's go and see the baby." Su Qingsang had performed the operation for a few hours the night before. The next morning, the hospital considerately asked her to rest and didn't arrange any outpatient services. Su Qingsang had been busy for the past few days. She planned to go shopping this morning and buy 2 sets of clothes. The weather in Sea City had been getting hotter and hotter. She had to go through the hospital gate when she left the hospital dormitory. She was about to open the map to see if there was a department store nearby. A Hummer stopped in front of her. The body of the Hummer was painted camouflage. Su Qingsang instinctively took a step back and saw the person sitting in the car. "Uncle, you're here to see Chun-Yi again?" Chun-Yi was the pregnant woman from yesterday. She had woken up early this morning. Her vital signs were normal. Zhang Yichen had indeed just seen Chun-Yi. He glanced at the bag in Su Qingsang's hand. "You're going out? Where are you going?" "I'll give you a ride." "No need. I'll call a taxi." Su Qingsang waved her hand. She didn't dare to trouble this uncle. Are you familiar with Sea City? No. I am. Get in the car. That didn't seem right. Uncle, it's really no trouble. You can call me uncle too. Sea City is my territory. Get in the car and I'll give you a ride. Just treat it as a good host. Su Qingseng couldn't refuse him anymore. She bowed and got in Zhang Yichen's car. Well, if that's the case, thank you, uncle. Chapter 594. Su Qingseng was still a little uncomfortable when she got into the car. She fastened her seat belt and looked out of the car window. They were all relatives, so she didn't think too much about it. However, because of what happened last time when she was drunk, she always felt a little weird when facing Zhang Yichen. Zhang Yichen was driving. He glanced at her out of the corner of his eye, then turned back to focus on driving. Where are you going? Su Qingseng realized that he was talking to her. To the nearest department store. Su Qingseng didn't want to trouble him. You can just drop me off at the nearest department store. Department store? Yes. Su Qingseng cleared her throat. Any department store will do. Zhang Yichen glanced at her and turned the steering wheel in the front seat. Sea City was a city with a long history. More than 2,000 years ago, ancient buildings could often be seen on both sides of the street. Su Qingseng hadn't had a good look around since she came here. Looking at the scenery on both sides of the street, she was a little interested. Maybe she could have fun here for a couple of days after the exchange program? You've never been to Sea City before? Zhang Yichen's voice made her turn her head. She nodded and said, yes. She used to focus on her studies. Plus, her identity was sensitive, so she never thought about traveling or having fun. Are you familiar with this area? Zhang Yichen seemed to be very familiar with this place. Yes. Our unit belongs to the S Province military. Their unit was here. Of course they were familiar with it. Su Qingseng nodded and glanced at Zhang Yichen. Maybe because he was going to see Qin Yi. He wasn't wearing his military uniform. Are you okay? Won't this delay your business? She felt that he was always busy. I'm fine. I'm off today. It was still a cold voice. Su Qingseng didn't notice that Zhang Yichen's grip on the steering wheel tightened. Did he want to say that he didn't need to spend time with his girlfriend? But that wasn't the right question for her. He seemed to be 2 years older than Hu Jiniao, and he was still unmarried. Su Qingseng didn't say anything else, and continued to enjoy the scenery. Fortunately, the awkward atmosphere didn't last long. Soon they arrived. This is a very famous street in Sea City. All the big department stores are here. Su Qingseng glanced at him, thanked him, and got out of the car. Zhang Yichen couldn't help but call out to her. Call me when you're done. I'll pick you up. I don't think that's necessary. Su Qingseng quickly waved her hand. I can take a taxi back myself. It's hard to get a taxi here. Write down my phone number. Call me when you're done. Zhang Yichen said blandly. There's really no need. Su Qingseng wanted to say no, but Zhang Yichen had no intention of driving away. Feeling a little helpless, Su Qingseng took out her phone to record his number. She decided that she would take a taxi home later. She would never let Zhang Yichen pick her up. Zhang Yichen watched as she wrote down his number, then asked her to try it again. Hearing his phone ring, he finally let her go. After Su Qingseng left, he looked at the number displayed on the screen and saved it. He struggled for a long time just to save a name. In the end, he entered her full name, Su Qingseng. He didn't leave right away. Instead, he parked the car in the parking lot. He looked back in the direction of the department store, lost in thought. After a long time, he hit the steering wheel hard. He quickly got out of the car. Zhang Yichen told her that he didn't want to be with Su Qingseng. He just had something to buy. Yes, he had something to buy too. For example, a gift for his mother. It was almost Hu Yangxi's birthday. When he entered the department store, Zhang Yichen wanted to punch himself in the face. What was he doing? Su Qingseng was married. She was Hu Jiniao's wife. It was useless for him to be like this. He shook his head and strode towards the outside. However, as soon as he walked outside, he felt the ground shake. Zhang Yichen's first thought was that it was an earthquake. Without thinking, he lay down face down, grabbed the railing, and covered his head and the back of his neck with one hand. The ground was still shaking violently. Suddenly, Zhang Yichen thought of something. He quickly stood up and ran into the department store. There were already people running outside. Screams could be heard all around. Zhang Yichen wanted to go through the crowd and continue inside. However, the glass door of the department store was shattered. Zhang Yichen covered his head and squatted down again. Soon it wasn't just the glass. The walls of the building began to crack. The gravel, cement, and dust on top of it fell like flying. Some people were hit by stones and some fell. Screams and howls could be heard all around. When a middle-aged man was about to be hit by a stone, Zhang Yichen quickly pulled him up. The man thanked him, but his legs were so weak that he couldn't stand up at all. Go to an open place and put your hands on your head. After saying that, Zhang Yichen looked at the scene in front of him and thought that Su Qingsang was still inside. He immediately took out his phone and called Su Qingsang, but no one answered. The surroundings were still shaking. He called again, but still no one answered. Seeing that no one was picking up the phone, he couldn't care less anymore and rushed into the department store. The shaking inside was even worse than the outside. Things kept crashing down and falling. Zhang Yichen regretted it very much. He shouldn't have asked Su Qingsang to take his phone number. He should have gone in with her. The shaking was still going on. Zhang Yichen couldn't go forward anymore. Everyone around him was screaming as they ran outside. He was the only one who walked inside. He looked at those people running outside. None of them was Su Qingsang. He became more and more anxious. The chandelier on the ceiling fell in his direction. He quickly dodged to the side and avoided it. People kept running outside, blocking his way. Zhang Yichen was anxious. He said loudly, "Don't panic. Everyone bend down, cover your head and run outside." At this moment, someone spoke, and the people who were running around blindly seemed to have found their direction. Zhang Yichen couldn't care less about those people. All his energy was now focused on finding Su Qingsang. The women's department was on the second floor. If Su Qingsang was here to buy clothes, she must be on the second floor. The stairs were already broken. Some people were so scared that they didn't dare to come down. The escalator had stopped a long time ago, but he could still go forward. Zhang Yichen exerted the physical strength he had developed in the army. He dashed up as fast as he could. Regardless of the shaking ground, he rushed straight to the most dangerous place. There were fewer people on the second floor than on the first floor. When the earthquake happened just now, everyone ran outside with all their might. Zhang Yichen didn't know where Su Qingsang was, so he could only search the clothing stores one by one. As he searched, he dodged the falling cement and dust. At the same time, he didn't forget to call Su Qingsang. He could feel the ground shaking more violently under his feet. But Su Qingsang didn't answer the phone. He was anxious, so he ran even faster. He kept calling, running, and dodging objects that might fall on him. He was in a sorry state. While he was dodging, he heard a phone ringing. It was from a shop next to him. Zhang Yichen was stunned. He dodged a shop sign that was about to fall, looked at the shop in front of him, which was blocked by broken glass and a counter. He hung up the phone and found that the ringing had stopped. He called again and found that it was ringing again. Zhang Yichen's eyes became hot. He looked at the name of the shop and immediately knew that Su Qingsang was inside. The shaking stopped at that moment. Zhang Yichen pushed the counter open and went inside. Other than the counter, there were two more shelves which were blocking his way. Zhang Yichen didn't hang up the phone. He heard the ringing getting louder. He walked forward and seemed to step on something. He stopped and found a female shop assistant lying under the shelf. He squatted down and found that the back of the female shop assistant's head was bleeding. She was no longer breathing. Zhang Yichen's heart skipped a beat. He felt as if his whole heart was twisting. Without thinking, he pushed the shelf away and moved the female shop assistant's body to the side. He gave the shop assistant a deep look, then looked around. Other than the female shop assistant, he didn't see anyone else. The phone was still ringing. Next to it was the fitting room. Zhang Yichen thought that Su Qingsang was here to buy clothes, so she might be trying on clothes here. Without thinking, he walked toward the fitting room. The wooden door of the fitting room had fallen. Half of it was stuck in the door. Zhang Yichen's heart was beating fast. Even though he had participated in a mission 1,000 times more dangerous than this, It didn't make him feel better. He pulled the door open forcefully and saw Su Qingsang lying there. She was holding a piece of clothing in her hand. She seemed to have lost consciousness. There were no windows in the fitting room, and the electricity in the building had been cut off. He could only see Su Qingsang's face with the dim light coming in from outside. There was no blood on her face, but there was a lot of dust on it. Her legs were curled up, and her body was leaning against a chair. There was no obvious blood stain. He put his hand on the tip of her nose and found that she was still breathing. He was more or less relieved. Su Qingsang? Su Qingsang? Zhang Yichen called her twice, but there was no response. He squatted down beside her, about to carry her and leave, but unexpectedly, there was another violent shaking behind him. He saw the lamp above his head shake and was about to fall. It was a critical moment. Zhang Yichen hurriedly picked up the door that had just fallen and placed it above the two of them. As expected, the lamp fell. And then there was an even more violent shaking. Su Qingsang's body was leaning against the chair, and Zhang Yichen was holding the door. No matter how many things fell from above, he didn't move at all. When the shaking stopped, Zhang Yichen found that he and Su Qingsang were trapped. He didn't know how many pieces of cement and wall had fallen outside. The fitting room was completely blocked. The shaking continued. Zhang Yichen gritted his teeth and held the door. He held Su Qingsang up with one hand and let her lean against him. The ground was shaking under their feet, and the dust kept falling above their heads. Zhang Yichen didn't dare to move, and he couldn't. At this moment, he was even glad that the shaking just now had shaken the door off. Otherwise, the two of them might have been buried. After a long time, the shaking finally stopped. Zhang Yichen's back was numb. He tried to look around. He pushed the door against one of the cracked walls. In this way, the fitting room formed a very narrow triangle. He took advantage of this gap and squatted down again. Qingsang? Su Qingsang? Still no response. He gritted his teeth and reached out to the back of Su Qingsang's head. Sure enough, he felt a lump there. It was probably hit by something just now. Su Qingsang, wake up. Wake up. It was very dark inside. Zhang Yichen took out his phone and turned on the light. In the dust and stones, he kept calling Su Qingsang's name. After a long time, Su Qingsang finally regained some consciousness. She was very uncomfortable and dizzy. The voice that kept calling her sounded a little familiar. She opened her eyes and saw a dirty face under the dim blue light. Su Qingsang was startled and instinctively stepped back. However, before she could step back, she felt a sharp pain in the back of her head. She snorted and instinctively raised her hand to cover the back of her head. Qingsang, you're awake? Zhang Yichen breathed a sigh of relief. The familiar voice made Su Qingsang look at the person in front of her again. Uncle, why was he here? And Su Qingsang almost instantly remembered. This is an earthquake. She had always known. S province was a province with a lot of earthquakes. Every year, there would be earthquakes from time to time. However, she never thought that she would encounter an earthquake in her lifetime. Yes, it's an earthquake. Zhang Yichen looked at her and didn't miss that he had been touching the back of her head. He seemed to have been hit by something. Are you okay? Su Qingsang's voice was a little hoarse. She rubbed the back of her head and felt that it was very painful. She also remembered that she had thought of buying a few clothes casually. After shopping for a while, she directly chose this shop. She liked the clothes and was about to try them on. But she didn't expect that something like this would happen before she could change. She shook her head. It was a little painful, but fortunately, she didn't feel nauseous. There shouldn't be any internal injuries. She tried to stand up and realized what was in front of her. There was a chair behind her. Her bag was still on the chair. In front of her was Zhang Yichen. There was a door panel behind Zhang Yichen. The door panel was stuck between the stone and the wall, forming a triangle. The space was very small, and Zhang Yichen blocked most of it. She was almost sitting against him. If she wanted to stand up, she would definitely bump into Zhang Yichen. Su Qingsang didn't know how to react for a moment. She tried to move her limbs. Fortunately, she could still move them. She couldn't help but look up at Zhang Yichen. His face was completely gray, and so was his hair. He didn't look good. One of his arms was supporting the side of the door panel, so that it wouldn't fall. He was still holding a phone in his other hand. The light from the phone didn't make the space completely dark. Why are you here? I came to find you. Zhang Yichen's voice was a little cold. Su Qingsang wasn't stupid. She had guessed it before. And this was just a confirmation. You came to save me? Yes. Zhang Yichen didn't deny it. Su Qingsang looked at him. Her first reaction was that he came to save her, because she was Hu Jinyao's wife. Her second reaction was that he was a soldier. This was his business to begin with. Thank you. You're welcome. After a very polite conversation, Su Qingsang didn't know what else to say. She suddenly remembered that she had brought her bag with her to try on clothes. Where was her bag? She had put it on the chair, but now the chair was empty. It must have moved during the earthquake. With the light above her head, she soon saw it. Her bag was buried in the pile of stones next to the chair. Su Qingsang took out her phone. She was glad that she had a good habit of charging her phone every day before going out. The battery was full. She swiped the screen and saw more than a dozen missed calls, all from Zhang Yichen. Did you call me? Yes. Zhang Yichen nodded. Only now did he have time to think about calling the police for help. However, he was afraid that no one would come now. The earthquake had just happened, so the police must have been ringing off the hook. It would take some time for the higher-ups to make arrangements. He just hoped that it would be faster. He wanted to tell Su Qingsang that it was useless to call the police now, but he didn't expect that she would call Hu Jinyao. Zhang Yichen forced himself to avert his eyes. However, the space was so small that he couldn't stop looking at her even if he wanted to. Before Su Qingsang could pull out Hu Jinyao's phone, the earthquake started again. Her hand shook, and she could barely hold her phone. She was scared and couldn't help but look up. There was the sound of things being smashed above the door. She could even feel that the space they were in was shaking more and more violently. She couldn't help but want to grab something to stand up. Don't move. Zhang Yichen was afraid that the door would fall down, so he kept holding it with one hand in his back. He looked at Su Qingsang and said in a very soft voice, "Lean on me quick. Don't move." Su Qingsang didn't dare to move, but she didn't approach Zhang Yichen. Instead, she leaned her body tightly against the chair. She held the phone in her hand tightly. Zhang Yichen's phone rang. He glanced at Su Qingsang and picked it up. The call was from the army, saying that there was an earthquake and asking him to come back as soon as possible. They needed to join the rescue. Sorry, I can't come now. Zhang Yichen's voice was very soft. He glanced at Su Qingsang from the corner of his eyes, and then looked away. I'm trapped here in Chunhui department store. I can't get out for the time being. What? The voice on the other end of the line sounded like he couldn't believe it. After asking for Zhang Yichen's location, the other side said that they would send people to rescue him. Zhang Yichen told him the address and the situation in front of him. After hanging up, he looked at Su Qingsang. Don't worry. Wait for them to come. When they come, we'll be safe. Su Qingsang nodded. At this time, she could only calm down. The aftershocks were still going on. Su Qingsang endured the pain of the shaking and called Hu Jinyao. No one answered the phone. Su Qingsang thought about the time. He should be in a morning meeting. She called again, but before she could pick up, a new round of shaking began. The sound of the phone began to become unstable. Su Qingsang heard Hu Jinyao's voice coming from the other end of the line. Qingsang. Jinyao I. As soon as he said the word I, the phone was cut off. Su Qingsang looked at the phone screen with a conflicted expression. She couldn't believe that the signal was cut off at this time. The ground was still shaking. Su Qingsang even had a feeling that she would fall immediately. She couldn't help but look up at Zhang Yichen. It's normal for the phone to have no signal during an earthquake. Wait a minute. Maybe it will recover later. Later? Su Qingsang didn't dare to think about it. She looked at the narrow environment in front of her and the light from Zhang Yichen's phone. Can we get out now? The shaking came from time to time. Not every shaking was very violent, but it made people feel even more uncomfortable. Zhang Yichen didn't answer her question. He tried to move his back. From time to time, the sound of things falling on the door could be heard. Those sounds could only make people feel more and more uneasy. He glanced at Su Qingsang and said, I'm afraid we can't get out for the time being. Now we can only wait for the earthquake to stop, or for someone to come and save us. He didn't know how many pieces of wall and cement were pressed against the outside. He could only see that the door had been blocked. He didn't know what the situation outside was either. He could only guess. But what he knew was that they wouldn't be able to get out of here for a while. Su Qingsang looked at him holding the door. Are you tired? Why don't I do it? Zhang Yichen glanced at her and didn't say anything. The shaking seemed to have stopped for a moment. Su Qingsang tried to move her feet, but the space in front of her was too narrow. She couldn't stand up at all. She clenched her phone, looked at the entrance of the fitting room, and said, "Why don't we try and see if we can get out of here?" As soon as she finished speaking, the shaking became even stronger. Su Qingsang couldn't help but turn pale. "Stay there, lean against that chair. Don't move," Zhang Yichen said in a low voice. Su Qingsang didn't dare to move. She leaned against the chair tightly, using this action to calm her heart. They didn't even have to wait for her to get out. They might not even be able to make it through the current situation. Even if they did get out, if another earthquake like this happened, they might be crushed to death as soon as they got out. She had seen many deaths, but she never thought that one day she would be in a situation like this. The huge wave of shaking finally stopped. It was so quiet that Su Qingsang could hear her own heartbeat. She didn't have time to feel lucky that she survived this time. From the corner of her eye, she saw that Zhang Yichen didn't look too well. Uncle, are you okay?" She looked at Zhang Yichen from head to toe and saw that his arm was bleeding. When the shaking was the strongest, Zhang Yichen only wanted to protect Su Qingsang from being hit. He held the door and bore most of the weight, along with the falling pieces of cement. However, he didn't expect that a piece of cement would hit his arm when it was shaking. Its sharp side had cut a wound on his arm. It was bleeding. Chapter 595. Are you hurt? Su Qingsang looked at his arm and quickly realized that. It's nothing. While speaking, Zhang Yichen tried to move his back. Something kept falling from the top of the door. It didn't shake anymore. He put the door back in place and held it tight. After doing this, he relaxed and sat on the ground. He was tall and small. Sitting like this, he was closer to Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang didn't have the time to care about the distance between them. She looked at his bleeding wound. "Let me bandage it for you." "No, it's nothing. I still need to bandage it. What if it gets infected?" As Su Qingsang spoke, she rummaged through her bag again. There was a tissue in it. She found it and wiped the blood off Zhang Yichen's hand. She saw the wound clearly. It was a bit deep and seemed to be serious. He said he was fine. Su Qingsang couldn't help but look at him again, then leaned forward a little. "Don't say no. It's a small wound, but you have to be careful at a time like this." She was a doctor, so it was easy for her to do this. There were no other tools in the room. She first used a tissue to clean his wound. Looking at the piece of red flesh that had been turned over, she felt the pain. There was no gauze here, but the shirt she had just brought in seemed to be made of cotton. It was dirty now. She thought for a while, then tore the bottom of the shirt into pieces, wrapped the wound with a tissue, and tied it with a piece of cloth. "I'm sorry. We don't have much space here, so we can only do this. When you get out of here, we can bandage it again." She spoke as she tied up his wound. The two of them were very close. There was dust all around them, but Zhang Yichen could see through her dusty face and see what was inside. For some reason his heart was beating fast. He tried to turn his face away. "It's done." Su Qingsang withdrew her hand and stepped back instinctively. However, she accidentally bumped into a chair. She snorted. "Careful." Zhang Yichen held her with his uninjured hand. "Thank you." Su Qingsang thanked him in a low voice. Zhang Yichen withdrew his hand and said calmly, "Thank you." "It's nothing. It's my duty." Su Qingsang actually wanted to thank him. If he hadn't been there to block most of the falling cement blocks with the door, she would have been crushed to death. The space was small, so Su Qingsang and Zhang Yichen didn't have much space to move around. Such a scene undoubtedly made her uncomfortable. She couldn't help but take out her phone and try calling Hu Jinyao again. This time there was no signal. Su Qingsang was frustrated that she couldn't get through. She realized that it might not be suitable for her to go out for an exchange next time. She had only gone out twice in total. One time, she encountered a mudslide, and the other time, she encountered an earthquake. What kind of disaster physique was this? During an earthquake, the Earth's crust will move violently, and the magnetic field will be chaotic, which will affect the phone signal. Zhang Yichen's voice brought her back to reality. She lowered her head and realized that she had been calling Hu Jiniao. She shook her head and put her phone back into her bag. Forget it. I'll just use it as a light. You can use mine when your phone runs out of battery. Zhang Yichen didn't object. It was so quiet that Su Qingsang couldn't hear a single sound. She thought of the shop assistant who gave her the clothes when she came in to try on the clothes. Right. There seems to be a shop assistant outside. Did you see her when you came in? Actually, there were two of them. The other shop assistant had gone to get the clothes that she had her eyes on. So there was only one shop assistant left. I saw her. Zhang Yichen's voice was very soft. He glanced at Su Qingsang, and the look in his eyes made Su Qingsang's heart skip a beat. She. When I came to find you just now, she was already not breathing. She must have been hit by something. The earthquake came too suddenly. They didn't even have time to react. Su Qingsang bit her lip. She didn't know what to say at this moment. Life was so fragile. She had seen so many births and deaths, but she still couldn't help but feel sad. The shop assistant had just been happily recommending the new summer clothes to her. She had been talking to her, but now she had stopped breathing. She was not far from her. Su Qingsang's eyes were a little red. She blinked and tried to suppress the emotion. The light in the small space was dim, but Zhang Yichen didn't miss the look on her face. He tightened his grip on her hand, then loosened it and turned his face away, as if nothing had happened. Su Qingsang didn't have much time to feel sad. She quickly began to think about the problem in front of her. Will we stay here for a long time? Not necessarily. Zhang Yichen glanced in the direction of the fitting room's door. It had been shaking so violently just now. He didn't know what the situation outside was like. The door was blocked, and there were gravel outside. He could try to move the gravel away, but if there was an aftershock, it would be very dangerous to dig from the inside to the outside. Can we only wait for someone to come and save us? Zhang Yichen glanced at her and put the phone in her hand. He turned around and wanted to try to move the stones. However, as soon as he moved, he could feel dust and debris falling from the top of his head. Stop. Stop. Su Qingsang was frightened. She quickly stopped him and said, We should wait for someone to come and save us. Zhang Yichen glanced at her. This was indeed the only way. He put the door above the two of them again. At this moment, he was even glad that the door of the fitting room was made of wood, and the quality was good. There was another silence. Su Qingsang didn't know what to say to him, and she didn't know what she could say. In such a closed space, a man and a woman alone. Su Qingsang felt a little dizzy. It would be great if the person trapped with her was Hu Jiniao. Thinking of this, Su Qingsang suddenly shook off the idea. She didn't want Hu Jiniao to be trapped here as well. Thinking of Hu Jiniao, Su Qingsang's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know when those people would come to save her, nor did she know when she would be able to get out. If she died here, she would never see Hu Jiniao again. Thinking of this, Su Qingsang suddenly couldn't sit still. She hadn't formally confessed to Hu Jiniao. She hadn't told Hu Jiniao. This year of marriage had made her fall in love with him. He was no longer the man she had randomly kidnapped to marry. Everything about him made her fascinated, and even loved him to the core. However, she hadn't let Hu Jiniao know yet. Most importantly, she hadn't given birth to Hu Jiniao's child yet. If she really died here, then this matter would become her greatest regret. Thinking of this, Su Qingsang took out her phone again. She tried to call Hu Jiniao again, but she still couldn't get through. She sent a message instead. Zhang Yichen watched her movements. He sat across from her and couldn't see what she was sending, but he knew that it was for Hu Jiniao. He felt a little sad. He turned his face away, not looking at her. There's no signal. Your message can't be sent. I know. Su Qingsang nodded and said without looking up. I'm thinking that if I die here, I'll write my last words. She said it casually. After all, she had been in the hospital for so many years. She had seen both good and bad things. It would be her turn to die eventually. It was just a matter of time. Zhang Yichen grabbed her hand that was sending the message. She was stunned for a moment, and found that he had taken her phone. He didn't look at her phone. He just stared at her face and said, "You won't die here." He was confident. Who knows? The earthquake came so suddenly. I don't know how many people will die. If we don't wait until someone comes to save us, someone will definitely come to save us. Zhang Yichen's voice was very firm. Looking at him, Su Qingsang somehow believed what he said, but, "Give me the phone. I told you, you won't die here. Someone will definitely come to save us. I believe you." Su Qingsang nodded. "I believe that I won't die here. But I want to leave a message for Hu Jiniao." Zhang Yichen understood what she meant. He reached out his hand again, and returned the phone to her. Su Qingsang took the phone and said casually, "People. They will die sooner or later. I believe that we will be saved, but I'm also prepared for the worst." Zhang Yichen looked at her lowered eyes. Because of the light from the phone, her long eyelashes cast a circle of dark shadows on her eyelids. She was very focused on sending the message. She bit her lip, as if she was thinking about what to say. She was prepared to die. Before she died, she wanted to leave a message for the person she loved the most in the world. He blinked and felt a little sad. Looking at Su Qingsang, he made up his mind. He wouldn't let her die here, even if he had to pay with his life. Su Qingsang not only sent messages to Hu Jiniao, but also to Li Qianxue, Su Yusen, Su Qinghui, Xiang Kaiping, and Shi Mingwan. She didn't know when the signal would come back. She didn't even know if they could see the message. But there was a record on the phone. If she really died, she hoped that they would see it. She sent the message to everyone she cared about. Finally, she looked at the screen in her hand. It was on the call window between her and Hu Jiniao. There was only one sentence on the screen. "Hu Jiniao, when I go back this time, let's have a child, okay?" In the 31 years of Hu Jiniao's life, he lived a lonely life. He was hated by his birth mother and ignored by his father. Although old Master Hu cared about him, it couldn't replace the love of his parents. If he had a child, then even if she was gone, he believed that the child could be with him. Su Qingsang clenched the phone and sent the last 6 words. "Hu Jiniao, I love you." Looking at the message waiting to be sent, she calmly put the phone back into her bag. When she looked up, she found that Zhang Yichen was still staring at her. She cleared her throat uncomfortably. "Don't you have anyone you want to talk to? For example, a girlfriend or family?" Zhang Yichen looked at her without saying anything. He did. How could he not? He had lived for more than 30 years, but the first time he fell in love with a married woman. And she was the wife of his nephew. It was so ironic. He was destined to be unable to say those words. No. Why not? Didn't he have anything to say to his parents and family? Zhang Yichen looked at an unknown spot behind Su Qingsang. His voice was very low. "From the day I put on the uniform, I was prepared to sacrifice." Since he had decided from the first day, he might die on the battlefield one day, or he might die in an accident one day. His family naturally knew that, so there was no such thing as a will. All the members of the Zhang family, whether it was him or his father, were prepared for such a thing. If there was anything he regretted, it was that he didn't die on the battlefield. Also, his eyes fell on Su Qingsang's face, and he found that she was a little touched. He suddenly felt uncomfortable, so he cleared his throat and said, "You should rest for a while. Save your energy. I don't know how long we have to wait." Su Qingsang was indeed very touched. She didn't have much contact with soldiers, but in her mind, they were all superior. Zhang Yichen's words shocked her. She couldn't help but look at him a few more times. She should listen to him and rest first to save her energy. Zhang Yichen had no choice but to help her up and make her sit more comfortably against the chair. He turned around and looked at the exit just now. It was now full of boulders, cement blocks, and wall blocks. He tried to push a stone outside, but just like before, stones immediately began to fall from above. It didn't work at all. If he really did that, he would probably be smashed to death before he could get out. After locking the door again, Zhang Yichen sat back in his original position. His gaze fell on Su Qingsang's face. Her forehead was burning hot, and she was unconscious. Zhang Yichen patted her shoulder, but Su Qingsang still didn't wake up. Her face was pale, and her lips were beginning to turn white and dry. Su Qingsang needed to drink water now. But where was the water here? Zhang Yichen looked at Su Qingsang's face for a long time. As time passed, her breathing became heavier, and her face became paler. This discovery made him frown so hard that he could almost squeeze a mosquito to death. Especially when Su Qingsang unconsciously licked her lips and furrowed her brows. After staring at Su Qingsang's face for a long time, he suddenly took out a Swiss Army knife from his pocket. His eyes didn't leave Su Qingsang's face, but he raised the knife and slashed it down. Bright red blood flowed out. Su Qingsang woke up in the temporary tent set up by the hospital. The moment she opened her eyes, she thought she was hallucinating. She actually saw Hu Jinniao? This didn't make sense. She closed her eyes again. She was still a little unconscious, but what she remembered was that there was an earthquake. There was an earthquake. She was locked in that small fitting room with Zhang Yichen. What happened after that? She remembered that she seemed to have fallen asleep. When she was in a daze, she felt very uncomfortable, very hot, and very thirsty. But then someone gave her water to drink. She drank the water, felt much better, and fell asleep again. What happened after that? And where was Zhang Yichen? Why did she remember that she seemed to be with Zhang Yichen? She opened her eyes again, and this time, the person she saw was still Hu Jinniao. Hu Jinniao? Qingsang, you're awake. You're awake? Hu Jinniao hugged her tightly and forcefully. He used almost all of his strength on her. Su Qingsang felt a little pain from his hug, and felt a little uncomfortable. She blinked and motioned for Hu Jinniao to let go of her. But how could Hu Jinniao let go of her? You're awake. That's great. You're awake. That's great. She was awake. Su Qingsang wanted to speak, but she found that her throat was uncomfortably hoarse. Hu Jinniao let go of her, took a cup from the side, and put it to her lips. Come, don't speak first. You must be feeling very uncomfortable now. Drink some water first. Su Qingsang didn't speak. She did feel very thirsty. She drank all the water in the cup and felt much better. Only then did she look at Hu Jinniao. At first glance, she realized that Hu Jinniao didn't look good. His eyes were bloodshot, and his face didn't look good. His chin and cheeks were covered with bruises, and he looked dispirited. You. Su Qingsang raised her hand to touch Hu Jinniao's face. How did you become like this? Did I become ugly? Yes. I'm so ugly. Su Qingsang nodded, but there was no disgust in her eyes. Instead, there was a hint of heartache. Hu Jinniao smiled. He held Su Qingsang's hand and kissed it. Yes, I'm so ugly now. Do you dislike me? No. Su Qingsang shook her head. You're the most handsome in my heart. Really? Of course it's true. Su Qingsang nodded, but found that this movement made her a little dizzy. Don't talk. Have a good rest first. Hu Jinniao supported her and let her continue to lie down. Su Qingsang was about to lie down, but she didn't forget to ask him. By the way, why are you here? How long has it been? How's it outside? And, don't talk. Rest. I'll tell you what you want to know slowly. Su Qingsang was silent. She looked around and realized that she was the only one in the tent. You. I received your call that day, but you hung up. At first, Hu Jinniao thought that Su Qingsang had accidentally pressed the wrong button. However, he had a feeling of unease before. He immediately called Su Qingsang back. However, Su Qingsang didn't pick up the phone. Not only did she not pick up the phone, but she also couldn't get through to him. He became more and more worried. Before he could continue calling back, Yang Wenchang brought him a piece of bad news that shocked him. There was an earthquake in Sea City. He was completely dumbfounded. He originally thought that something might have happened to Su Qingsang, but he didn't expect it to be an earthquake. He couldn't care less about anything else. He kept trying to contact her, but it was useless. Hu Jinniao knew that there was an earthquake here, so how could he sit still? He wanted to rush to Sea City, but no one was allowed to come. Other than the rescue, there were also volunteers. If anyone else came, they would only cause trouble. Hua Jinyao wasn't here to cause trouble. He was here to find someone. He immediately donated a large sum of supplies to the disaster area. Then, he used this sum of supplies to come to Sea City. After he arrived, he began to ask the relevant rescue personnel to look for Su Qingseng. The hospital where Su Qingseng was at was the largest hospital in Sea City. It should be easy to find her. It wasn't easy for him to contact the hospital and Sun Huiya. However, she told him that Su Qingseng had left early in the morning, and she didn't know where she was now. When the earthquake happened, the doctor who came with Sun Huiya was in the clinic. Her clinic was on the first floor, so when the earthquake happened, she immediately ran out. Chapter 596. Su Qingseng wasn't in the hospital, and she couldn't be contacted. Su Qingseng's condition was unknown. Every piece of news stimulated Hua Jinyao's nerves, especially when he found out that Su Qingseng had gone out to buy clothes. He really wanted to slap himself. When Su Qingseng wanted to pack her luggage, he should have asked her to bring more clothes and buy things in Sea City. It was all right now. She was the only one in trouble. Sea City was so big, and there were so many department stores. Hua Jinyao had no idea which department store he should go to find Su Qingseng. At this moment he thought of Zhang Yichen. He knew that Zhang Yichen's unit was here. It would be much easier for him to find Zhang Yichen than to find Zhang Yichen himself. However, when he contacted Zhang Yichen's unit, he found out that Zhang Yichen was not in the unit. Not only was he not in the unit, but he seemed to have experienced an earthquake as well. Hua Jinyao had a bad feeling. That kind of premonition came from the fact that both Zhang Yichen and Su Qingseng had encountered an earthquake at the same time. They lost contact with Su Qingseng for 2 days and 2 nights. From the moment Hua Jinyao received the news to the moment he lost contact with Su Qingseng for 2 days, Hua Jinyao felt as if his heart was being grasped by someone. He couldn't calm down at all. Whenever he thought that something might happen to Su Qingseng, he couldn't stay calm. He had no choice but to look for his great-aunt Hua Yangxiu. Hua Yangxiu was also anxious, because Zhang Yichen was also in trouble. Who was Zhang Yichen? He was the youngest son of the district commander, and was already a senior colonel. The last thing Hua Yangxiu heard was that Zhang Yichen was trapped in Chunhui department store. There were 3 Chunhui department stores in Sea City. She wondered which one Zhang Yichen would end up in. There was no signal on the phone. When the signal was restored, they began to locate Zhang Yichen. Hua Jinyao's heart skipped a beat when he found out that Zhang Yichen was in the department store. He trusted Zhang Yichen and Su Qingseng. He believed that it was impossible for the two of them to have any interaction. That was until he got the exact news that Zhang Yichen was buried in a department store. He rushed over immediately. He didn't know why he had to go there. He believed that Zhang Yichen couldn't be with Su Qingseng. However, when he finally found Zhang Yichen, Hua Jinyao felt lucky. She was glad that Zhang Yichen was with Su Qingseng at that time. For the rest of his life, he would never forget what he had seen that scene, and, Jinyao? Su Qingseng glanced at Hua Jinyao, wondering why he was daydreaming again. Hua Jinyao stopped thinking, and looked into Su Qingseng's eyes. The corners of his mouth twitched. What happened? Now that Su Qingseng had woken up, she naturally remembered something. I remember that I was with uncle. How is he? Su Qingseng was very grateful to Zhang Yichen. If he hadn't arrived in time and shielded her with the door, she would have been crushed to death. It was a fact that Zhang Yichen had saved her life. He's fine. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingseng's face and asked the question. Why are you with uncle? Su Qingseng had just woken up when she was hit on the back of her head. At that time, she thought she was fine, but in fact she was. She wasn't in good spirits at the moment, so she didn't notice the slight jealousy in Hua Jinyao's words. I was going to buy some clothes. Uncle happened to come to the hospital to see a pregnant woman. He said that he was familiar with Sea City, so he gave me a ride. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything. He just held Su Qingseng's hand and said, Uncle came to the hospital to see a pregnant woman? Su Qingseng nodded. Thinking of Chen Yi, she suddenly sat up again. How are Director's son and the others? Are they okay? And Chen Yi? And all right. Don't worry about others for now. Hua Jinyao held her hand and pressed her back. You're very weak now. What you need to do is to rest well. Are they all okay? All? Director Sun, Ling Fei, Dr. Chen, and Dr. Li are all okay? They're all okay. Hua Jinyao nodded. When the earthquake came, Dr. Sun and the others happened to be in the clinic on the first floor. They ran outside as soon as the earthquake happened. So they're all right. That's good. Su Qingseng breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that Director Sun and the others were all right. Where are they now? There were a lot of casualties. They're all going to help now. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingseng and suddenly gently hugged her body in his arms. Qingseng, no matter where there's such an exchange in the future, don't go. Okay. He didn't say anything else, but Su Qingseng could understand what he meant. She had only gone out twice in total. One was a mudslide, and the other was an earthquake. Her luck couldn't be any better. How can there be a next time? Su Qingseng had the same thought. But she really didn't think that her luck would always be so good. These are all coincidences. The probability is low. I don't care. Anyway, you're not allowed to go next time. Okay. Next time, I won't go anywhere other than to study. Okay. You can't study either. Hua Jinyao couldn't describe his feelings when he found out that there was an earthquake in the place where Su Qingseng was. He never wanted to experience that kind of feeling again in his life. Su Qingseng looked at him, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. There seemed to be a hint of helplessness. She was still a little listless. Hua Jinyao got up and took a bowl of porridge from the side. There's only this now. Simple porridge. Boil it with boiling water. Make do with it. There were still aftershocks from time to time, and there were still many disaster victims who hadn't been settled down. These were brought over by Hua Jinyao. The porridge could be drunk with boiling water, but the taste couldn't be compared to the porridge at home. Why would I care about these things now? It's good enough that I have something to eat. She was indeed hungry. She watched as Hua Jinyao brought the porridge over. By the way, how many days has it been since the earthquake? Today is the 3rd day. The 4th day. Su Qingseng blinked. Then, how many days was I trapped in there? Why don't I remember? 2 days. Hua Jinyao really felt a lingering fear when he said this. You were trapped for 2 days. After you were rescued and confirmed that your life was not in danger, you were placed here. After you were rescued, you slept for an entire day. Su Qingseng nodded. She wanted to ask more, but Hua Jinyao had already started feeding her porridge. She could only eat first. The porridge didn't taste good, but at this time, under such conditions, Su Qingseng couldn't be picky. After finishing a bowl of porridge, Hua Jinyao put the bowl aside. Is there anything else you want to eat? I'll ask Yang Wenchang to try his best to send it over. The first batch of supplies were instant noodles, bread, biscuits, and so on. It would take some time for a hot meal to be eaten. It's okay. I understand. Su Qingseng waved her hand. She listened for a while. From time to time, she could hear the sound of sirens and people coming and going outside. Where are we now? The empty space outside the hospital. They're all temporary tents. How's the hospital? Can't they be used? Of course not. The aftershocks are still there. It's too dangerous to stay inside. Su Qingseng pursed her lips. Are the casualties very high? Yes. Hua Jinyao nodded. The statistics showed that there were already hundreds of people. There were still those who were missing or not found. Su Qingseng was in a bad mood, and Hua Jinyao didn't know what to say. In the face of such a disaster, human strength was too small. Hua Jinyao, I feel terrible. For those who left, those who were missing, and those who were injured. I know. Hua Jinyao wasn't in a good mood either. He was born into a good family, other than the kidnapping when he was young, which caused him to suffer all kinds of torture. It was also the first time he had seen such a tragic situation. I've already asked someone to send another batch of supplies over. However, we can't help with the rescue for the time being. They're more professional than us. Don't think too much. Rest well. Your body is still very weak. Su Qingseng looked at him and nodded heavily. The wind and rain were raging outside, but inside the small tent, it formed a small world of its own. Su Qingseng leaned her face against Hua Jinyao's chest. Her eyes were a little moist. She had survived. She had survived when she thought she was going to die. However, there were some people who weren't as lucky as she was. Hua Jinyao. Yes. I sent you a message. Did you see it? No. This time, Su Qingsang heard the jealousy in his words. She couldn't help but laugh, and reached out to hold his hand. He saved my life. If it weren't for him, I would have died. You? Hua Jinyao wanted to ask her if she remembered. But Su Qingsang was indeed sleepy again. She had a head injury, and was still on an intravenous drip. All these things made her feel sleepy easily. Uncle is really a good person. Her eyes had already begun to close. Then her voice became even softer. When the earthquake happened, he came to me. He saved me. Jinyao, I want to thank him. She didn't say anything else. She had already fallen asleep. Hua Jinyao stared at her face, not sure how much she could remember. He waited until Su Qingsang was completely asleep. He tucked her in, and turned to go to a tent not far away. When he entered the tent, Hua Yangxia was guarding Zhang Yichen. Seeing Hua Jinyao come, she stood up. Jinyao, is Qingsang okay? She's awake. She's fine now. Su Qingsang was hit in the head by a stone, and had a slight concussion. In addition, being buried in the ruins caused a certain degree of lack of oxygen. It was indeed a little dangerous before. But the doctor said that as long as she woke up, she would be fine. Now that she was awake, she should be fine. It's good that she's fine. It's good that she's fine. Hua Yangxia was relieved. When she turned to look at Zhang Yichen, who was lying on the bed, her expression turned into worry. I just don't know when Yichen will wake up. Uncle will be fine. Hua Jinyao glanced at Zhang Yichen. His face was very pale. He was lying there motionless. When Zhang Yichen was rescued, Hua Yangxia wasn't there, so she could face him so calmly now. If Hua Yangxia had seen that at that time, Hua Jinyao really couldn't guarantee that Hua Yangxia would still be able to talk to him calmly like she was now. Zhang Yichen could have been fine. Why didn't he wake up now? One reason was that his internal organs were injured, and the other was that he had lost too much blood. Hua Jinyao couldn't forget the scene when the ruins were dug open, and he saw Zhang Yichen and Su Qingsang. After Su Qingsang passed out, she had a fever and was dehydrated. Zhang Yichen had no choice but to cut his wrist and let Su Qingsang drink his blood. Su Qingsang was unconscious, so she didn't know about this. Then there was an aftershock. In order not to let her be hit, Zhang Yichen had been protecting her from above, but he didn't expect the wall to collapse because of the aftershock. Although there was a door to block it, the small door could no longer block the two of them. In order not to let Su Qingsang be hit, Zhang Yichen held the door and blocked most of the pressure. His back was hit, and because he had fed Su Qingsang his blood, she survived. When he was rescued, he was already unconscious because of excessive blood loss and the injury on his back. City North was very close to City C, but it wasn't the closest, so there weren't many injured people here. There were more people in the hospital than usual, but because of Hua Yangxia, they were now in the military hospital, so it couldn't be as crowded as in other hospitals. Su Qingsang was much more energetic today. However, Hua Jinyao insisted that she stay in bed to rest. She felt that she had slept too much, but Hua Jinyao didn't think so. He always felt that only in bed could be considered rest. This made Su Qingsang feel very helpless. After lunch, Su Qingsang was going to take a nap. However, after she closed her eyes, she couldn't fall asleep. Just as she was about to ask Hua Jinyao if he wanted to rest for a while, she heard the sound of him going outside. Zhang Yichen woke up. Hua Jinyao heard the news when he delivered Su Qingsang's food. His ward was next to Su Qingsang's, which was also arranged by Hua Yangxia. When Hua Jinyao went over, Zhang Yichen had just finished a bowl of porridge. His hand was still wrapped in gauze. His face was a little pale, but much better than yesterday. Hua Yangxia greeted him when she saw him. Uncle. Hua Jinyao looked at Zhang Yichen with a complicated expression. When Zhang Yichen saw him, his lips moved, but when he saw Hua Yangxia next to him, he didn't say what he wanted to ask. Mom, I want to eat grapes. Go and buy some. Okay. Hua Yangxia hurried over because of Zhang Yichen's accident. Her eldest son and daughter both had tasks, so they couldn't come over immediately. As for Zhang Xinghua, he could only come at night. So, he was the only one here to take care of Zhang Yichen. Hearing that her son wanted to eat grapes, she immediately picked up her bag and walked out. Then Jingyao Yu, Grandaunt, you can go. I'll stay here and keep Uncle company. Sorry to trouble you. Su Qingsang was in the ward next door. She was fine. Hu Yangxiu knew that, so she wasn't too worried. She thanked Hu Jingyao and left. After she left, the ward fell silent. Zhang Yichen looked at Hu Jingyao, wanting to ask how Su Qingsang was. I know what you want to ask. She's fine. Zhang Yichen's clenched fists loosened a little. Hu Jingyao saw that, but he couldn't tell how he felt. You should have known that she would be fine when you saved her. Seeing that Zhang Yichen didn't say anything, Hu Jingyao added, Thank you, Uncle. Zhang Yichen glanced at him. He looked very calm, but only he knew how many undercurrents were hidden under that calmness. You're welcome. I know. It's too easy to thank you now. Hu Jinyao's voice was a little low. He looked at the gauze on Zhang Yichen's arm. The white gauze looked a little harsh against his wheat-colored skin. But I still want to thank you, because I'm her husband, and you saved my wife. I thank you. I just want to look at you. I'm afraid you'll disappear. She really scared him this time. Hu Jinyao held her hand tightly. He still couldn't forget the fear of losing her. Silly. Su Qingsang reached out and squeezed his hand helplessly. How did our young master Hu become so silly? Quite silly. Hu Jinyao held her hand. There's nothing wrong with your body anymore. When you're well rested tomorrow, we'll go back to Rong City. Okay. Su Qingsang didn't object. No, Director Sun and the others. They're staying to be volunteers now. I believe they won't go back to Rong City for the time being. I want to be a volunteer too. At a time like this, the disaster area needed a large number of doctors. As a doctor, she really wanted to do her part. No. Hu Jinyao held her hand tightly. You're not allowed to be a volunteer. You can say that I'm selfish or careful, but you haven't fully recovered yet. I don't trust you to be a volunteer. But no buts. Hu Jinyao was very persistent. Qingsang, I understand your feelings, and I know your determination to do good. But this isn't the mudslide last time. This is an earthquake. There can be aftershocks inside at any time. I can't bear the slightest possibility of losing you. Even if it was only a little bit, it wouldn't do. Su Qingsang felt his hot hand and understood his concerns. But Director Sun and the others are all helping now. It's really not good for me to go back to Rong City alone. More importantly, I also want to do my part for the disaster area. Jinyao, just promise me, okay? I promise, I'll ensure my own safety, and I'll be very careful. I won't let myself be in danger. Can I? No. Jinyao, unless you promise me one thing. What? I'll go too. Hu Jinyao. Was he crazy? Su Qingsang didn't know what to say. You're the president of Tianyu Group. How can you? If you can, I can too, Hu Jinyao said very seriously. You're also the wife of the president of Tianyu Group. Su Qingsang couldn't help but laugh. She leaned over and kissed Hu Jinyao on the cheek. Jinyao, you're so nice. Hu Jinyao gave her a deep look and thought of Zhang Yichen next door. Actually, I'm afraid that you won't think I'm good enough. How can that be? In my heart, you're the best. Qingsang. Yes. If. There's a man who treats you better than I do. He can will you. Hu Jinyao suddenly stopped talking. He denied what he had just said. He was jealous. Crazy jealous. He was jealous of Zhang Yichen. He was jealous that the person who was by Su Qingsang's side at that time wasn't him. What are you trying to say? Su Qingsang looked at him in confusion. Hu Jinyao hugged her and pressed his chin against her neck. I want to say that if there's a man who treats you better than I do, will you be with him? Su Qingsang blinked and looked at him. Finally, she raised her hand and put it on Hu Jinyao's forehead. You don't have a fever. You. Zhang Yichen said one word and held the cup tightly. Are you okay? Su Qingsang nodded, looked at Zhang Yichen, and said very softly, Uncle, thank you. You're welcome. Zhang Yichen held the cup and took a sip. His voice and expression were very cold. Thank you, Uncle. Su Qingsang's voice was very sincere. Thank you for saving my life. Zhang Yichen lowered his head and drank all the water in the cup. Then he looked away as he put down the cup. I said you're welcome. I'm a soldier. That's what I should do. He had said this twice in 2 days. But each time he felt different. Su Qingsang wanted to say more. But she felt that the word thank you was indeed too light. Uncle, are you badly injured? How are you feeling? Do you feel better? I'm fine. I'm very healthy. My mother was too nervous. Zhang Yichen still didn't look at Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang could see that he didn't look very well. She was a doctor, so she naturally knew that Zhang Yichen wasn't telling the truth. That's good. Su Qingsang thought for a moment. Uncle, let me know the next time you come to Rong City. Jin Yao and I will treat you to dinner. Thank you for saving my life. No need. Even if you weren't in trouble today, I would still do the same. Moreover, you are Jin Yao's wife. I am Jin Yao's uncle. Of course, I won't let anything happen to you. Su Qingsang couldn't find anything to say. Hui Yangxiu came at that moment. She was stunned when she saw Su Qingsang. Great aunt. Yes, you're here to see Yichen. Yes. I'm here. Thank you, uncle. Before she could finish the last 5 words, Zhang Yichen interrupted her. Mom, didn't my father say he was coming? Where is he? He went to command the disaster relief. Hui Yangxiu knew her husband. He went after knowing that you were fine. They say that there must be a big family before there can be a small family. It's not like you don't know what kind of person your father is. Great aunt, uncle, you guys talk. I'll leave first. Su Qingsang could tell that Zhang Yichen didn't want her to stay here. She said goodbye to Hui Yangxiu and turned to leave. Hui Yangxiu wanted her to stay for a while. After all, they were relatives, and she liked Hui Jinyao very much. However, Zhang Yichen asked her to pour water at that moment. After Hui Yangxiu poured the water, Su Qingsang had already left. Child, you're Jinyao's wife no matter what. Why are you so cold to her? Zhang Yichen took the water from her hand and didn't answer Hui Yangxiu's question. However, out of the corner of his eye, he kept looking at the door of the ward. With his sharp ears, he listened to the rhythmic footsteps as they walked away bit by bit, until he could no longer hear them. He put the cup back on the bedside table and didn't respond to Hui Yangxiu's next words. Su Qingsang followed Hui Jinyao into the helicopter. After that, there were a few more aftershocks that could be clearly felt in Sea City. It was indeed a dangerous place. Especially now that Hui Yifan had left the company. There were more things that needed him to make decisions every day. Yang Wenchang brought a notebook for him. He volunteered during the day and dealt with work at night after Su Qingsang fell asleep. He took time to rest for a while. It had only been 2 days, but there were already faint shadows under his eyes. It's okay. I can handle those things. This is more important now. I know you can handle it. But, she went forward and held Hui Jinyao's hand. Her voice was very soft. I feel sorry for you. She raised her hand and wiped Hui Jinyao's face with her sleeve. She actually knew that Hui Jinyao had a slight obsession with cleanliness. But now he was busy in such an environment. Hui Jinyao, I feel sorry for you. I want you to go back. Continue to be the omnipotent CEO. Hui Jinyao looked at her and held her hand. Wife, you feel sorry for me. Don't I feel sorry for you? Su Qingsang was clearly a doctor in the obstetrics and gynecology department. But what she had done in the past 2 days had nothing to do with the obstetrics and gynecology department. You're here to help the disaster area, but you're chasing me back. Haven't you ever thought that there will still be aftershocks here from time to time? If I really leave here, will I be worried about you? The situation is basically stable now. Even if there are aftershocks, I believe it won't be too serious. Also, Su Qingsang tried to persuade Hui Jinyao, but Hui Jinyao didn't accept it. Wife, either you go back with me, or I'll stay with you. In short, I won't let you go alone. In such an uncertain environment, you'll experience the fear and worry from before. Su Qingsang was speechless. Her throat was a little blocked. She wanted to say something, but in the end, she could only reach out and hug Hui Jinyao. Hui Jinyao, did I tell you that I love you? Yes. You're saying it now. Then did I tell you that I like you because you're you? Even if there's a better man than you who treats me better than you, I can't like him? She was answering his question from the other day. Hua Jingyao smiled and wrapped his big hand around her waist. Moreover, Su Qingsang raised her head to look at him. Her eyes, which were slightly bloodshot because of exhaustion, were still as bright as stars. In my heart, there will never be a man who is better than you, who treats me better than you. Hua Jingyao laughed. He laughed so hard that his chest was shaking. Su Qingsang's face was pressed against his chest, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly with a faint smile. When Su Peijian entered the room, there was not only the smell of alcohol, but also the smell of cigarettes. The room was still very dark, and the lights were not turned on. The smell of the entire room was unbearable. She turned on the lights and opened the curtains. The dazzling light made Hu Yifan, who was lying on the bed, open his eyes. When he saw that it was Su Peijian, he turned over, pushed the bottle of wine in his hand, and went back to sleep. Looking at him, Su Peijian's heart was filled with hatred. She turned around and went to the bathroom to get a basin of water. She walked to the bed and splashed it on Hu Yifan's face. Hu Yifan had to get up. He stared at Su Peijian, as if he was looking at an enemy. Are you crazy? What are you doing? What am I doing? I want to ask you now, what are you doing? What am I doing? Hu Yifan sneered and wiped the water off his face. What else can I do now? Tell me, what else can I do now? I don't know what you can do now. I only know that no matter what you do now, it's better than you being drunk here. Better? How is it better? Hu Yifan got up from the bed. His clothes were wet, so he took them off. He walked up to Su Peijian and reached out to pinch her chin. What? What else can you use me for? Tell me. Hu Yifan. Su Peijian waved his hand away. Let me tell you, what else can I use you for now? Look at you. Not to mention Hua Jingyao. Even I would be able to beat you to the ground. Do you believe me? Of course I do. Why not? Hua Yifan grabbed Su Peijian's arm and pressed her against his body. You don't have to hit me. I'll lie on top of you. Not only will I lie on top of you, but I can also move and make you. Slap. Hua Yifan was slapped in the face. He glared at Su Peijian. Not only was Su Peijian not afraid, but she slapped the other side of Hua Yifan's face. Hua Yifan, are you awake now? Su Peijian. Hua Yifan gritted his teeth and looked a little fierce. Let me tell you, no one has ever dared to hit me. You're the first. Is that so? I'm sorry, I want to tell you too. I've never hit a man before. You're the first too. You. What about me? Su Peijian sneered and glared at him. I only know that Hua Jingyao is not in Rong City now. I also know that he accompanied Su Qingsang to Sea City. I also know that there's an earthquake in Sea City now. And Hua Jingyao hasn't come back yet. And tell me, what do you know? Chapter 598. What do I know? Let me tell you, I know a lot. Hua Yifan put down his hand that was about to hit Su Peijian. I also know that he wants a good reputation. He keeps donating supplies to the disaster area, and even stays there as a volunteer. What's wrong? So what? Hua Jingyao knew how to be a good person. What disaster relief? It was all because Su Qingsang was there. So what? Su Peijian was so angry that she almost laughed. Are you trying to tell me now that you know that Hua Jingyao is not in Rong City, but you deliberately let go of such a good opportunity? What opportunity? Hua Yifan looked at Su Peijian with his eyes wide open. Tell me, what other opportunity do I have? He had already been kicked out by old Master Hua. What other opportunity did he have? Hua Jingyao is in Sea City. There was an earthquake in Sea City. Su Peijian stared at Hua Yifan's face. She didn't believe that he wouldn't think of it. It's true that you were kicked out of Tianyu Group, but it's still a short time. Who knows? Who knows? Hua Yifan sneered. Everyone knows. What do you think? Su Peijian rolled her eyes. She took 2 steps forward and grabbed the front of Hua Yifan's shirt. No wonder you can't beat Hua Jingyao. You want to beat Hua Jingyao with your cowardly appearance? You're dreaming. Okay. I'm cowardly, but Hua Jingyao isn't cowardly. If Hua Jingyao isn't cowardly, why are you here? Go find him. But the problem is, Hua Yifan looked at Su Peijian up and down with extreme contempt and sneered. He doesn't like you. Su Peijian was annoyed. She raised her hand and was about to slap Hu Yifan again. This time her slap missed. Hu Yifan grabbed her hand and pulled her into his arms. Don't you just want me to take over Tianyu Group? You want to be the wife of the president of Tianyu Group. You want to suppress Su Qingsang, right? So what? Su Peijian looked at him. Can you give it to me? Of course. But the premise is that Hu Jingyao dies first. Do you dare to do it? Su Peijian smiled. She stared at Hu Yifan and said in a cold voice, Hu Yifan, I won't do something like killing 1,000 enemies at the cost of 800 lives. I'm telling you, I'm a person who can do anything, but I won't do anything illegal. It wasn't like something like this had never happened in Lin City before. I really don't like Su Qingsang and Hu Jingyao, but I don't want to kill them. Hu Yifan, you have to understand that only when you have freedom will you have a chance to get the Tianyu Group. If you have no freedom, even if you get the Tianyu Group, you can only stay in prison. Then what else is there to say? Hu Yifan let go of her and pushed her away. If Hu Jingyao doesn't die, I'll never have a chance. What else can I say? Not necessarily. Su Peijian took a step forward and looked at Hu Yifan. The last time I went to see Grandpa, he didn't pay much attention to me. But I heard one thing. What? Sea City is a good place. Su Peijian looked at Hu Yifan with a calculating look in her eyes. I'm willing to do this myself. But during this time go to Grandpa for me. I don't care if you cry or beg. Ask Grandpa to let you go back to Tianyu Group first. If that doesn't work, go beg Uncle. Hu Jingyao doesn't have a good relationship with his parents. But Uncle should still have a good impression of you. Go beg Uncle. No matter what method you use, let them get you back to Tianyu Group. Leave the rest to me. Leave it to you. Su Peijian's words made Hu Yifan raise his eyebrows. What are your plans? If you didn't want to get rid of Hu Jingyao, how would you have the ability? If you don't believe in my ability, you can do as I say. Su Peijian pushed her hair back. In short, your opportunity is right in front of you. If you can't enter Tianyu Group, then all my previous efforts will be in vain. Okay, I'll wait and see. Hu Yifan stepped forward and pinched her chin. If you can really make Hu Jingyao forget about the company's matters, I have a way to get Tianyu Group. At that time, I'll definitely marry you into the Hu family and make you the wife of the CEO of Tianyu Group. Okay, I'll wait. As Su Peijian spoke, she waved Hu Yifan's hand away and took out a document from her bag. Here. What's this? A gift for you to ask for forgiveness from Old Master Hua. Su Peijian narrowed her eyes. You don't think that Old Master Hua will let you go back if you don't do anything, do you? Hu Yifan took out the document and glanced at it. His expression immediately changed. How did you get it? You don't have to care how I got it. In short, with this greeting gift, it's only natural for you to return to Tianyu Group. After you go back, keep a low profile. But this plan must be done beautifully and well. Otherwise, you still won't have a foothold in Tianyu Group. Hu Yifan looked Su Peijian up and down. He couldn't help but lean over and kiss her on the cheek. Woman, I really think that my brother chose your sister first and didn't choose you. He's blind. Of course he's blind. Su Peijian sneered. Her abilities and methods were far superior to Su Qingsang's. Only a man like Hu Jingyao, who had no taste, would treat Su Qingsang like a treasure. He's blind, but I'm not. As Hu Yifan spoke, he picked up Su Peijian and pulled up her clothes. What are you doing? You still have the mood to think about this at a time like this? At a time like this, the more I think about it. Don't worry, with this gift here, Old Master Hu will definitely agree for me to return to Tianyu Group. Su Qingsang and Hu Jingyao held hands and stood on a slope, looking at the lights in front of them. It had been more than 20 days since the earthquake. The two of them had been helping here for a week. Now that the situation in the disaster area had basically stabilized, the injured had been settled. As for those who had already left, they couldn't control it. The higher-ups were very satisfied with the performance of their medical team. Now that the situation had stabilized, the local hospitals adjacent to Sea City had sent people over to help. Now that their mission was considered completed, arrangements had been made for them to leave. The airport of Sea City was damaged in the earthquake. It couldn't be used for the time being. They had to take a helicopter to In-City first. Then they would transfer from In-City to Rong City. When the two of them got on the helicopter the next day, they didn't expect that the person who came to pick them up would be Zhang Yichen. Uncle. Uncle. Hua Jinyao looked at Zhang Yichen. A week had passed. Zhang Yichen's injury seemed to have recovered. His face had returned to a healthy wheat-colored color. He looked much more energetic. He was wearing a military green shirt. His sleeves were rolled up. His muscular arms were exposed. Uncle's injury has recovered? Hua Jinyao carefully looked at Zhang Yichen. He looked in good spirits, and seemed to have really recovered. Yes. Zhang Yichen nodded, but his eyes didn't fall on Su Qingsang. I'm going to In-City. Have you been here for a long time? I've been here for 2 days. There were many things to do in the disaster area. As a soldier, he had his own responsibilities. Uncle's injury hasn't recovered yet, right? Why don't you rest for a while? Hua Jinyao's voice was filled with concern. Does Grandaunt agree with you doing this? I'm already fine. Zhang Yichen's slightly cold voice was heard. He signaled them to sit down with his eyes. In addition to Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang, Su Qingsang's colleagues from the hospital who came over this time were also with them. They knew that Hua Jinyao was very capable, but they didn't expect a soldier to know him. Everyone got on the helicopter. Soon the helicopter took off. Su Qingsang sat next to Hua Jinyao. She looked out of the helicopter. Before she came, it was an extremely prosperous city with green mountains and clear water. Now that he looked over, all he could see was a mess. She was not in a good mood. Hua Jinyao held her hand. She turned to look at Hua Jinyao and shook her head gently at him, indicating that she was fine. In less than a month, she had experienced life and death and seen through it. Although she couldn't completely accept it, she was much calmer than when she first faced it. Zhang Yichen kept looking forward, as if he didn't see Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang holding hands. When they arrived at In-City, the helicopter landed at the airport. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao were the last to get off the helicopter. Hua Jinyao got off first and reached out his hand to Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang took his hand and jumped off the helicopter. When she turned to face Zhang Yichen, Su Qingsang nodded very politely. Thank you, uncle. Goodbye, uncle. Zhang Yichen responded coldly. Su Qingsang turned to leave. Before she left, she glanced at Zhang Yichen's wrist. There was a scar there that looked very new. She had never seen it before. Hua Jinyao put his hand on her shoulder at the right time. She also thanked Zhang Yichen. Thank you, uncle. When you have time, go to Rong City this week. I'll treat you to dinner. We'll talk about it then. I guess they'll be very busy recently, and won't have time to go to Rong City. They all knew that Zhang Yichen's unit was in Sea City. Before this matter was completely over, he probably wouldn't have time to return to Rong City. Hua Jinyao was just being polite. In fact, he really didn't want to see Zhang Yichen now, even if he was his own uncle. The two of them didn't return to Rong City with Sun Huiya and the others. Instead, they got on the plane to Lin City. Li Qianxue knew that Su Qingsang had experienced an earthquake. She was so worried that she almost came with them. If Hua Jinyao hadn't contacted her in time and told her that Su Qingsang's condition was stable, Li Qianxue would have flown to the disaster area without a care. When she heard that Su Qingsang didn't return to Rong City after she was fine, but stayed in Sea City, she was very worried. However, Su Qingsang seemed to be fine. She called her every day to tell her that she was safe. She didn't mention anything about the disaster area. Just because she didn't say anything didn't mean that Li Qianxue didn't know. There were reports on TV, the news, and the internet every day. How many aftershocks had happened? What changes would there be? Under such circumstances, how could Li Qianxue not worry about Su Qingsang staying there? She paid attention to the news every day. After the communication was restored, she asked Su Qingsang to contact her every day. But even so, Li Qianxue was still extremely worried. Seeing that Su Qingsang was standing in front of her unscathed, Li Qianxue hugged her and pretended to hit her on the back twice. You're really bold. I don't listen to you anymore. I told you to go home, but you didn't. Do you know that you scared me to death? Knowing that Su Qingsang had encountered an earthquake, She couldn't wait for her to come back immediately. Who knew that not only did Su Qingsang not come back, she even dragged Hu Jingyao along to mess around. Mom, I'm fine now, aren't I? Su Qingsang's eyes were a little red. She was really grateful that she had escaped death here. You're still talking about it. You've already lost so much weight. Li Qianxue glared at Hu Jingyao as she spoke. She wanted to criticize him for not taking good care of Su Qingsang. However, she realized that his face was even uglier than Su Qingsang's, and he seemed to have lost even more weight than Su Qingsang. Knowing that he had accompanied Su Qingsang all the way, she couldn't help but complain. You're so old, yet you still let her mess around. If she wanted to stay, wouldn't you have brought her home? It's my fault. I didn't persuade her. Hu Jingyao admitted his mistake with a good attitude. Li Qianxue couldn't flare up even if she wanted to. Her son-in-law had stayed in the disaster area with her daughter as a volunteer. So how could she be angry? She couldn't help but pat Su Qingsang's shoulder again. This time, no matter what you say, you have to stay for a few more days before you leave. Do you know that your grandfather is also very worried about you? Knowing that you're in the disaster area, he even went to Qingyuan Temple today and said that he wanted to pray for you. He's so old, so I asked Yusin to accompany him. No wonder she said that she didn't see old Master Li. Hearing that he was going to pray for her, even if Su Qingsang didn't actually believe in these things, she was still extremely touched. Okay, I'll definitely stay for a few more days. Su Qingsang and Hu Jingyao stayed at the Li residence. In the afternoon, Old Master Li and Su Yusin returned. Both of them were very happy to see Su Qingsang. They pulled Su Qingsang as if they had endless things to say and endless questions to ask. Su Yusin's scores were out. He was the top science student in Lin City. He had also made up his mind to go to university in the capital. Since he had made up his mind, Su Qingsang was quite happy for him. She suddenly thought of Bai Jihan. No matter what, she and Su Yusin were in a relationship. She wondered how her grades were and which school she would go to. She wanted to ask, but it wasn't the right time. She could only ask later. It was night. It suddenly rained in Lin City. It was accompanied by bursts of thunder. Su Qingsang had been very tired during this period of time, but she couldn't fall asleep because of such thunder. She tossed and turned on the bed. Hu Jingyao was about to fall asleep, but he was so shocked by her movements that he couldn't sleep anymore. What's wrong? It's nothing. I just can't sleep. You think the thunder is too noisy? Half-half. The other half was thinking about Su Yusin. He had decided to go to university in the capital, which was far away from home. Although he could come back during the winter and summer vacations, it was not as convenient as staying in Lin City. Grandpa was old. Li Qianxue was busy with company affairs every day. Su Qingsang couldn't bear it, but she knew that this was something that could not be helped. There was also Bai Jihan. She had asked Su Yusin just now, and he said that Bai Jihan had failed in the college entrance examination. Her grades weren't particularly good. If she wanted to go to university in the capital with Su Yusin, she was afraid that she couldn't. She could see that Su Yusin had true feelings for Bai Jihan. It was just that if they were separated for 4 years in university, there would be too many variables. Bai Jihan was very insecure, but Su Yusin was determined. He had always been a person who knew what he wanted, but he wouldn't compromise for Bai Jihan. Su Qingsang couldn't help but look at Hu Jingyao. What are you doing? Are you tired? Hu Jingyao gently bit her lips again. Aren't you tired? You think about all kinds of things every day. Don't you have time to rest? Are you tired? Why are you thinking about all kinds of things? They are my family. Of course He sealed her mouth with a kiss. She couldn't say anything else. Su Qingsang was a little annoyed. She was seriously worried, but he didn't care at all. She reached out to hit him. Hu Jingyao bit her lips and said softly, "You're not tired anyway, so why don't you do something else?" As Hu Jingyao spoke, his big hand began to reach into her clothes. Su Qingsang was so angry that she laughed. "Who's not tired? How can I fall asleep with such loud thunder? Well, actually, I'm still not tired enough. When I'm tired and faint, I naturally fall asleep." Hu Jingyao's voice was vague. Su Qingsang couldn't push him away. She could only let him do whatever he wanted. When the two of them were naked, Hua Jingyao suddenly stopped. His hand subconsciously reached in the direction of the bedside table. But he remembered that this was the Li family, not Rong City. He gritted his teeth, turned over, and was about to get off Su Qingsang's body. Su Qingsang hugged him at this moment. She met his eyes. Her eyes were clear. Didn't you say that it was a child? Hua Jingyao's expression was a little conflicted. He wasn't ready yet. How could Su Qingsang give him time to prepare? She directly turned over and took the initiative. Hua Jingyao had never had any self-control in front of her. Looking at her, he said with slightly gritted teeth, "You've become bold. Not as bold as you." Su Qingsang bit his ear. "You've become fat from breaking your promise." She was accusing him of not keeping his word. Hua Jingyao looked at her slightly blurry eyes, gritted his teeth, and turned from passive to active again. Forget it, if she wanted a child, it would be up to fate. Before they became one, Hua Jingyao stopped. Looking at her passionate eyes, his voice was firm. "Just this once. If you have one, give birth to it. If not, go back and do what you should do, okay?" If Su Qingsang wasn't in a bad state, she would have beaten him up. What did he mean? She didn't agree, but Hua Jingyao had already made up his mind. He lowered his waist and gave himself to her. Su Qingsang gritted her teeth. She was a little shy, but in the end she raised her waist. She was a gynecologist, so she naturally knew what kind of situation it was easier to have children. Hua Jingyao knew what she was thinking and couldn't help but laugh. He really didn't know that Su Qingsang was so obsessed with children. "Honey, with you like this, should I work harder today?" Su Qingsang couldn't help but want to bite him again. She didn't bite him, so she scratched his back. "Don't worry, honey. Your husband will definitely work hard." Su Qingsang couldn't bear it anymore. She raised her head and bit him on the shoulder. This guy was really showing off after getting a bargain. It was really annoying. "Qingsang, you're really bad." Su Qingsang stayed with old Master Li and Li Qianxue for 2 days. Today, she finally had time to ask Li Qianxue to agree to let her go out. As soon as she left the house, she went to look for Shi Mengwan. Shi Mengwan had returned from the competition in France a long time ago, but she was very busy. This time, she didn't win the championship, but she got the most unique design award. The significance of this award was extraordinary, and it also made Shi Mengwan famous overseas as a rising star of design. More and more people came to him. Su Qingsang saw Shi Mengwan again and found that she didn't look well either. "You have dark circles under your eyes. Are you worried about me? Or are you busy with work? You're heartless." Shi Mengwan pinched her arm. "I'm worried about you, of course." She was really worried about Su Qingsang. If she hadn't found out that Hua Jingyao had accompanied her to the disaster area, she would have gone too. Su Qingsang was touched and hugged her waist tightly. All right, I'm fine now." She stepped back a little and looked at Shi Mengwan's expression. "You, don't think I don't know that you stayed up all night drawing again. I know you want to make money, but no matter how much you want to make money, you have to take care of your health." Shi Mengwan didn't say anything. It was true that she wanted to make money. She wanted to prove that she was also true. Zhang Haoze and Chen Feifei were still engaged. She was powerless to stop it, and she couldn't do anything. Zhang Haoze had come to look for her twice during this period of time, but she avoided him. When he came to the studio, she asked someone to say that she wasn't there. When he came to her house, she hid from him and didn't open the door. Sometimes Shi Mengwan didn't understand. He was already engaged, so why did he still look for her? Was he trying to turn her into a mistress? Or was Zhang Haoze that confident? He was confident that her feelings for him would never escape his control. So he was fearless? No matter which one it was, Shi Mengwan felt tired. Even though she knew that Zhang Haoze was the big brother she had been thinking about for more than 10 years. But such a relationship with a third party, was too tiring for her. "Mengwan, what's wrong? Are you really tired?" "Yes, very tired." Shi Mengwan twitched the corner of her mouth. "It's not a big award, but the internet is so developed now. When it was spread back to China, many people bragged about the award. I can't even take online orders during this period of time." Su Qingsang looked at her with heartache. "How about you take a break for a while? or stop taking orders for a while, or hire some more people. Anyway, your studio is already big enough now, and you can hire a lot of people. I want to, but there aren't many good designers who are close to my style and agree with my ideas. Su Qingsang knew Shi Mingwan very well. She didn't continue talking about this matter. Shi Mingwan didn't think about Zhang Haoze anymore. Her heart ached when she thought about that person, but she felt empty and uncomfortable when she didn't think about him. She only wanted to suppress that emotion at the bottom of her heart and get rid of those thoughts. She turned to ask about Su Qingsang's situation in the disaster area. The two sisters went shopping, chatted, and drank tea together, just like when Su Qingsang was still in Lin City. At the same time, a plane slowly landed in Lin City. Su Peijian wore a pair of Dior sunglasses on the bridge of her nose. She was wearing Chanel's new summer dress. She slowly walked out of the airport, the corners of her lips curling up into a faint smile. Chapter 599. Before Su Peijian came to Lin City, she made a trip to N City. It wasn't that she didn't want to go to C City to cause trouble for Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao. It was just that her ability was still a little lacking. C City was still a disaster area, and they were slowly carrying out post-disaster rescue and reconstruction work. Anyone who wanted to enter the disaster area had to be vetted. The airport was also closed. Su Peijian wouldn't even think about volunteering. She wasn't cut out for that. She didn't want to do what she thought was hypocritical. She spent a lot of effort and pulled a lot of strings. She used all the connections that she could use when she was in Lin City. Speaking of which, she had to thank Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue. They despised her and hated that she was in Rong City. However, in Lin City, neither Su Qinghui nor Li Qianxue deliberately talked about Su Peijian's family background. Many people who didn't know what was going on thought that she was still the daughter of the Su family. This was also the reason why she was able to obtain resources and the gift she had previously given to Hu Yifan. Not only in Lin City, but she also had people she could use in Rong City. It was true that Hu Yifan had been kicked out by the Hua family, but neither Hua Yang nor Hua Manzi had. Old Master Hua was strict with boys, but he was especially tolerant with girls. There were some things that she could find out with just a little inquiry. For example, Zhang Yichen was currently doing disaster relief in C City. Zhang Yichen's troops were also in C City. Su Peijian really wanted to know the truth about Zhang Yichen and Su Qingsang. But after asking around, it really didn't work. She could only think of another way. Before she could think of anything, she received the news. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao went back to Rong City. The heavens were really on her side. Su Qingsang was very busy after returning to Lin City. Other than Li Qianxue and Shi Mingwan, who wished that she could accompany them every day, she also took the time to go back to the hospital. Previously, Director Zhang had taken such good care of her that she bought afternoon tea, and specially took half a day off to visit Director Zhang and the others. Director Zhang was very happy to see Su Qingsang. He looked at the time and told Su Qingsang not to leave in a hurry. Let's have dinner together tonight. Su Qingsang had the same idea. She was going to invite them to dinner. When the group was about to leave, they met Zhuo Hongqian again. Zhuo Hongqian had been very busy for the past 6 months. He had been promoted to chief and had a lot of things to do. Most importantly, he had a girlfriend. He had a lot of things. A new doctor from the same department. The only regret was that Zhuo Hongqian's girlfriend had gone to study recently. He was not in Lin City and would only be back in a week. Su Qingsang asked him to join them. Therefore, Su Qingsang brought a group of people to Chaowen Courtyard. At the same time, Su Peijian looked at Qiu Yanba, who was sitting across the desk. Du Qingsang, you? Su. Qiu Yanba. It was your Qiu family who wanted to get engaged. Later, it was you Qiu Yanba, who wanted to break off the engagement. You. Do you think you can get engaged whenever you want and break off the engagement whenever you want? Su Hua Hut. Yun, Su Chun. Su Peijian smiled. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao are in Lin City now. Su Hao Su Qi. Su Hao Su Kisidi. How? Su Su Peijian told him her plan. Xiao Yamba stared at her, his eyes wide with shock. You're crazy. Xiao Yamba admitted that he was interested in Su Qingsang. But it wasn't enough for him to go against Hao Jinyao. He had been warned by Hao Jinyao, and he was working with Tianyu Group. Recently, the company's business had been quite good. He didn't want to go against Hao Jinyao and get himself into trouble. Let's just say I'm crazy. You're the one who drove me crazy. Su Peijian leaned forward and stared at Xiao Yamba, her eyes filled with endless coldness. Xiao Yamba, you want to stay out of this? Why can't I stay out of it? Because I have something on you. Su Peijian smiled. She stood up, put her hands on the desk, and looked down at Xiao Yamba's face. You don't think that I didn't know anything when I was your fiancé, do you? Xiao Yamba's expression changed. Su Peijian, what do you mean? Su Peijian smiled. She opened her bright red lips and said a few words. Xiao Yamba's face turned livid. I've always thought you were a smart person. So, a smart person like you should know how to do smart things, right? Xiao Yamba stared at Su Peijian and nodded. Good, very good. Tell me, how do you want me to help you? Let's go. Follow me to find the person first. Tell me slowly. What do you think? Xiao Yamba stared at Su Peijian's face and sneered. Su Peijian, why didn't I know you were a vicious beauty before? I didn't know you were a scumbag either. Su Peijian emphasized the word scumbag. Xiao Yamba was so angry that he laughed and glanced at her coldly. Let's go. Su Peijian smiled with obvious pride on her face. Su Qingsang hadn't met with her colleagues for a long time. It was rare for her to have a gathering like this. Because Zhua Hongqian was the director's son, everyone let him sit at the head of the table, next to Su Qingsang. He had a girlfriend recently. Although he had feelings for Su Qingsang, he still hoped that she could live a good life. When Su Qingsang was talking, he turned his face to listen to her. She talked about the incident at Rong City Hospital and the disaster area this time. Her eyes were curved, and there was a smile at the corner of her eyes. Her complexion was also very good, especially the feeling that her whole body exuded. It could be seen that she was living a good life. This was very good. He knew that she was living a good life. He was also relieved, although it had nothing to do with him, who asked him to confess too late and reveal his feelings too late. This table of people was bustling with noise and excitement. On the other side, Su Peijian and Xiao Yamba, who knew where Su Qingsang was, also came to the private room next door. Xiao Yamba looked at Su Peijian with a mocking expression on his face. Su Peijian, if Hu Jinyao finds out about your current plans, do you know what will happen to you? What will happen? Su Peijian sneered. Will it be worse than now? If it weren't for Su Qingsang, if it weren't for Hu Jinyao, how could she have ended up like this? She lost everything. Why could Su Qingsang have everything? She couldn't accept it. She called the waiter over and ordered 2 bottles of wine with great interest. Do you want to have a drink together? Su Peijian poured 2 glasses of wine and placed one in front of Xiao Yamba. Xiao Yamba turned his face away from Su Peijian. I don't want to drink with you now. It's okay, I'll drink it myself. Su Peijian not only drank it herself, but also called the waiter over to bring one of the bottles to the next room. If any one of them asks, say it's from Mr. Hua. The waiter took the bottle of wine to the next room. Next door, Su Qingsang and her colleagues from the hospital were indeed drinking. When someone brought the bottle of aged dry red wine over, Director Zhang was stunned for a moment. No one was blind and could see the value of the wine. It's from a Mr. Hua. The waiter's words made everyone turn to look at Su Qingsang, and there was a hint of ridicule in their eyes. Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed. She had called Hu Jinyao about coming out to the party, but she didn't expect him to arrange this. Was he asking her to drink without any worries? Qingsang, thank you in advance. Director Zhang smiled and didn't stand on ceremony. Su Qingsang felt a little warm and a little sweet in her heart. Other than having a disagreement with Hu Jinyao on the matter of the child, Hu Jinyao was perfect in every aspect. Just like that, a bottle of wine fell into the stomachs of the people present. Everyone was very grateful that Su Qingsang still remembered them after leaving for so long. So one by one, they came over to toast her. Su Qingsang was inevitably a little drunk after being toasted by them one after another. The banquet hadn't ended yet, but the atmosphere was already lively again. The alcohol got to their heads, and everyone was in high spirits. They said that they were going to KTV to sing. Su Qingsang didn't object. It was a rare opportunity, and it was good to have more fun. However, she drank too much and couldn't help but go to the bathroom. When Su Qingsang washed her hands, she began to feel a little dizzy. She shook her head, trying to sober herself up. However, her nose was suddenly covered, and she instinctively struggled. However, she didn't have much strength in her drunkenness, and her body just went limp. Su Peijian and Qiu Yanba helped Su Qingsang out the back door. Of course, Su Peijian was very careful. The boss of Chaowen Courtyard used to be friends with Su Qinghui. It took her less than 10 minutes to take Su Qingsang away from Chaowen Courtyard. During these 10 minutes, the surveillance cameras of Chaowen Courtyard were broken. In the end, all they could capture was Su Qingsang entering the bathroom. Of course, she didn't forget to use Su Peijian's phone to call the people from the hospital. She said that she was drunk, and her husband was coming to pick her up. So they went to play. No one would make things difficult for Su Qingsang. Everyone knew that she had drunk too much just now. As for her voice, it was normal for a drunkard to speak in a drunken manner. Everything went smoothly. 10 minutes later, Su Qingsang had already been brought by Qiu Yanba and Su Peijian to the hotel next door. That hotel was Qiu Yanba's property. In the presidential suite on the top floor, Su Qingsang slept on it unconsciously. Su Peijian looked at Su Qingsang with a look of disdain on her face. She wasn't as good-looking as her, and she wasn't as capable as her. No matter how one looked at it, she was inferior to her in every aspect. She just had to be so lucky to meet Hu Jiniao, that blind man who treated such a useless woman like a treasure. Seriously, Qiu Yanba stood by the bed and looked at Su Peijian. Okay, I've helped you get her out. Can I go now? Go. Su Peijian turned to look at him. Don't you like her? How can you just leave like this? Su Peijian. Qiu Yanba's voice was extremely cold. I'm not as shameless as you think. Really? Su Peijian smiled. She leaned forward a little and stared at Qiu Yanba's face. You mean you don't want to? Of course. He didn't want to go too far, and he didn't want to shed all pretense of cordiality with Hu Jiniao. Okay, you don't want to. Su Peijian nodded. Then I'll have to find someone who does. Su Peijian, I think you're really crazy. You said that just now. Let's change it to something new. Su Peijian pulled Qiu Yanba's body over, her face full of coldness. Why do you have to pretend to be so dignified and righteous? If it were in the past, you wouldn't have liked someone like Su Qingsang. Don't you like her? I'll give you a chance to be with her. Isn't it just fulfilling your wish? It's fulfilling your wish, isn't it? Qiu Yanba waved her hand away. Have you ever thought about what would happen if I really did this? What would Hu Jiniao do to me? Su Peijian, you've already left the Su family. You don't care, but I do. I won't risk my family. Don't worry. By the time Hu Jiniao comes, you should have already left. Su Peijian let go of his hand, her expression full of contempt. This is your hotel. You can make sure that the surveillance cameras don't capture anything. Isn't that right? Qiu Yanba stood still. If that's the case, why would Hu Jiniao believe in your trap? Because I have this. As Su Peijian spoke, she took out her phone and waved it in front of Qiu Yanba. I'll take a picture of you and send it to Hu Jiniao. Don't worry, I'll censor your face. I won't really let him see your face. You're well prepared. Qiu Yanba's voice became even colder. Should I thank you? Shouldn't you? Get out. Qiu Yanba's voice was very cold. Su Peijian stood still. I can't go out. I want to stay and take pictures. Do you think I'll let you stay? If you don't let me stay, then I'll have to call Hu Jiniao now and ask him to come here immediately. Su Peijian. Qiu Yanba's face had turned livid at this point. Su Peijian raised her eyebrows. You don't have a choice. Either you let me take pictures of you, or you let me call Hu Jiniao here. Choose one. You really are a crazy woman. Thank you. I'll take this as a compliment. Qiu Yanba stood still. He glanced at Su Peijian. Su Peijian, I don't understand. Why do you hate Su Qingseng so much? In fact, your identity and the fact that you were swapped had nothing to do with her. She doesn't need to bear your anger at all. She doesn't need to bear my anger? Then who will? Don't deny it. Qiu Yanba sneered. You've enjoyed more than 20 years of nurturing from the Su family. You've enjoyed the glory of the eldest daughter of the Su family for more than 20 years. What reason do you have to hate Su Qingseng? Yes, I did enjoy it. But they took it all away from me. Su Peijian spread her hands. If it didn't belong to me in the first place, then why did they give it to me? If that's the case, it's better not to have it in the first place. Isn't that right? You're very sick. Whatever you say. What I need now is for you to take off your clothes quickly. Chapter 600. Qiu Yanba's hand paused at his belt buckle for about a second, before finally stopping. Su Peijian, get out. I can't do anything if you stay here. What can't I do? To the end? Stop teasing me. You're not such an honest person. Qiu Yanba gritted his teeth, his body stiff and motionless. Su Peijian supported her chin with one hand, and enjoyed the sight of Qiu Yanba struggling with satisfaction. In fact, Qiu Yanba was also one of the people she hated. What right did he have to break off the engagement? Su Peijian, I'll say it again. I can't do anything with you here. Then you don't have to do it to the end. My target isn't you anyway. Hurry up. I'm not very patient. Su Peijian blinked. There's no turning back. Don't even think about getting cold feet. Qiu Yanba narrowed his eyes, gritted his teeth, and began to unbutton his shirt. Su Peijian smiled. Seeing Qiu Yanba unbuttoning his shirt, the corners of her lips curled up even more. She took out her phone and adjusted the camera angle to her satisfaction. Seeing Qiu Yanba take off his shirt and reveal his chest, there was a flash of pride in her eyes. Qiu Yanba took off his shirt, but he didn't go to the bed like she thought he would. Instead, he turned around and went to the bathroom. Qiu Yanba, what are you doing? Take a shower. Qiu Yanba turned to look at her, his eyes cold. Why? Can't I take a shower first? Don't try to stall for time. It's useless. Su Peijian sneered. Now that things have come to this, even if you don't do anything, you still won't be able to get away with it. Qiu Yanba looked at her coldly and turned to take a shower. Soon, the sound of running water could be heard from the bathroom. Su Peijian relaxed her body and put her phone aside. She narrowed her eyes and looked at Su Qingseng, who was sleeping on the bed. In terms of appearance, Su Qingseng was no match for him. If a delicate and pretty lady were to dress up, she might be 80 points. But that was all. His skin was very good. After all, he was young and delicate. His figure was not bad either. However, compared to her, she was far inferior. No matter how one looked at it, he was inferior to her. Hua Jingyao was really blind. He yawned and felt a little sleepy. She looked at the time, and found that Qiu Yanba had been showering in there for more than 20 minutes. Did that good-for-nothing think he could escape? She stood up and walked towards the bathroom. The water was still running in the bathroom. She pushed the door open, and was about to go in, but the inside was filled with mist. Qiu Yanba. She was about to head for the bathtub, when she felt a sudden pain in the back of her neck. She widened her eyes and tried to turn around, but she was hit again, and her body went limp. Qiu Yanba stood behind her, looking at her face. He carried her to another room in the presidential suite, and put her down. He had just placed Su Peijian's body on the bed when the doorbell rang. There was also a knock on the door. He could hear the urgency in the voice. Qiu Yanba turned to open the door. The moment the door opened, Hua Jingyao saw Qiu Yanba, who had taken off his shirt. He clenched his fist, and almost swung it at Qiu Yanba's face. Qiu Yanba seemed to know his intentions and quickly dodged to the side. It's not a gentleman to bite the hand that feeds him. Hua Jingyao glared at him, and was about to go in when he saw the open door. It's not that room, it's this one. Hua Jingyao entered the door, and saw Su Qingseng lying on the bed. Because she had drunk alcohol and been drugged, her face was red. She was fully clothed and sleeping soundly. He took a deep breath, suppressed his anger, and went forward to carry Su Qingseng's body. When he met Qiu Yanba's eyes, his emotions had already calmed down. Thank you. I owe you one. You're welcome. Qiu Yanba touched the tip of his nose. Don't forget me if there's a good opportunity to work together next time. Of course. Hua Jingyao nodded and walked out with Su Qingsang in his arms. However, he suddenly stopped halfway. Where's Su Peijian? She's asleep in the other room. Hua Jinyao's brows were tightly knitted. Qiu Yanba seemed to know what he was going to do. You'd better take her away first. You can deal with Su Peijian anytime you want. But she drank alcohol and was drugged by Su Peijian. You'd better take her for a checkup. Hua Jinyao nodded. He knew what was more important. Su Qingsang was the most important thing right now. As for Su Peijian, in the past, her little tricks were harmless. He didn't take her seriously. Now he wouldn't let it go just like that. He raised his feet to leave, but suddenly stopped. He turned around and glanced at Qiu Yanba. I'll take Su Qingsang to the doctor now. You can leave now. I'll arrange the rest. President Hua, you're really swift and decisive. It seems that you've made up your mind to teach her a lesson today. Of course. Hua Jinyao's voice was very cold. Repay kindness with kindness and revenge with hatred. I've always been like this. If that's the case, then I'll leave first. Don't worry. I won't interfere with what you do next. Thank you. Hua Jinyao nodded and left with Su Qingsang in his arms. He went upstairs and left the hotel. After getting into the car, he made a few calls. His expression was very cold. His knuckles were slightly white as he gripped the phone. The call was connected. Hua Jinyao's voice was as cold as ice. He gave his instructions. The person on the other end of the phone was a little surprised, but he quickly did as he was told. Hua Jinyao hung up the phone. His eyes fell on Su Qingsang's face. He felt lucky again, but he regretted it again. He should have been with her, no matter where she went or what she did. In that case, he wouldn't have given others a chance. He threw the phone aside. He reached out and stroked Su Qingsang's face. I'm really worried about you. He didn't keep a close eye on her, and she and Zhang Yichen were trapped in the ruins of the earthquake. He didn't pay attention again, and she was almost hurt by Qiu Yanba. Fortunately, Qiu Yanba was still sensible and knew how to make a choice. Otherwise, he almost didn't dare to think about it. Without thinking too much, he turned around and took Su Qingsang to the hospital. It wasn't far from the hospital where Su Qingsang used to work. The doctor on duty also knew Su Qingsang. He had just met her today. The doctor finished examining Su Qingsang as quickly as possible. It's nothing serious. Although she was drugged, the amount was not large, so there's no need for special treatment. After drinking, go back and make some tea to sober her up. After making sure that Su Qingsang was fine, Hua Jinyao finally relaxed. He carried Su Qingsang and turned to leave. When they got home, Li Qianxue and Old Master Li were still awake. Su Qingsang rarely came back, so they were all waiting. Seeing Hua Jinyao carrying Su Qingsang in the door, Li Qianxue stood up immediately. What's wrong? Didn't you go to a party? As soon as she got closer, she smelled the strong smell of alcohol. Li Qianxue's brows furrowed. How much did she drink? Why is she so drunk? Mom, don't worry. I'll take her upstairs to rest first. You sit for a while. I still have something to tell you. His cold expression was different from before. He said you instead of you. Li Qianxue and Old Master Li both looked at him, not understanding what was wrong with Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao sent Su Qingsang upstairs, changed her clothes for her, and covered her with the quilt. Finally, he kissed her on the forehead, turned around, and went downstairs. At this time, Su Yusen also came downstairs. The three of them sat on the sofa, waiting for Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao sat across from them, and his expression was very ugly. This was the first time he showed such an expression since he came to Lin City. Grandpa, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. His serious attitude made Old Master Li and Li Qianxue even more confused. The two elders looked at each other, and finally looked at Hua Jinyao together. What is it? Just say it. Okay. Hua Jinyao nodded, and told them what Su Peijian had done that night in a cold voice. Old Master Li and Li Qianxue's expressions changed at the same time. Especially Li Qianxue. She stood up immediately. What did you say? So Qingsang, did she suffer? Although Su Qingsang was fully dressed when she was carried back, Li Qianxue couldn't help but worry. Qingseng is fine. Hua Jinyao's face was expressionless. That Qiu Yanba is sensible. He doesn't have the guts. Li Qianxue sat back down. She knew Qiu Yanba. No matter what, he had known the Li family since he was a child, and his character was generally good. Su Yusen couldn't believe that Su Peijian would do such a thing. Then Sister Peijian she is now. You still call her Sister Peijian? Li Qianxue glared at her son, and her voice became colder. Let me tell you from today on, she is no longer your sister. If you dare to call her your sister, don't call me your mother. Hua Jinyao's focus was not on Su Yusen's address. Grandpa Mom, what I want to say is, although Qingseng is fine this time, it doesn't mean that Qingseng will be fine in the future. What did that mean? Qingseng was lucky to meet Qiu Yanba today. Qiu Yanba is still working with our two families. He doesn't dare to offend us too much. But what about next time? What if Su Peijian finds someone else? Old Master Li and Li Qianxue only felt that their backs were wet. Even Su Yusen was shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. Yes, they met Qiu Yanba today. Even if he had the intention, he would have to think about what he would have to face when the Hua family and the Li family attacked the Qiu family together. But if Su Peijian was a little crazier, a little more unscrupulous, then what would happen to Qingseng today? Li Qianxue didn't dare to think about it. She closed her eyes. In her eyes, besides pity for Su Qingseng, there was also hatred and resentment for Su Peijian. No matter what, Su Peijian was the daughter she raised, but now, she did such a thing. She was simply crazy. Chapter 601. What he was going to do was not a little trick. He was going to give her a taste of her own medicine. Su Peijian dared to plot against Su Qingseng, so she had to pay the price. And after that, he would let her taste even more pain. No, Li Qianxue said first. If she dared to do this to Qingseng today, then she is no longer my daughter. I have nothing to do with her anymore. That's right. Old Master Li also said. Peijian has done this, and the Li family will have nothing to do with her in the future. He used to love Su Peijian, and he used to treat her as his own granddaughter. Okay. That was what Hua Jinyao wanted. He knew that Li Qianxue and Old Master Li might not be on Su Peijian's side. But after all, they had raised her for more than 20 years, and they had feelings for each other. Hua Jinyao was not worried that they would not cooperate. If they were not willing to cooperate, he would naturally think of other ways. But today, he had to teach Su Peijian a lesson. Su Yusen did not speak. He sat there, his emotions hard to tell. How did Su Peijian become like this? That was his sister. How did his sister become like this? Also, I have a favor to ask of you, Grandpa and Mom. What do you mean by favor? Just say it. Li Qianxue had roughly guessed what Hua Jinyao wanted to do, but she waited for him to say it himself. Hua Jinyao's eyes swept across the three people in front of him, and finally, with a cold expression, he stated his request. Tomorrow morning, I hope, Mom, that you can publish in the newspaper or make a statement to break off your relationship with Su Peijian. The living room suddenly became silent, and Old Master Li and Li Qianxue both looked at Hua Jinyao. For Su Peijian, this move was really more painful than killing her. I can send her to prison, but I don't want to. That would be too easy for Su Peijian. I want to see her lose all her hope bit by bit. Li Qianxue lowered her head, not because she was soft-hearted, but because she felt a little suffocated. Speaking of which, all these things were caused by Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, her eyes were firm. Okay. In that case, I have nothing else to do. Hua Jinyao stood up and said, I'll go upstairs to see Qingseng. Mom, Grandpa, you guys should rest early. He left, but no one else in the living room felt sleepy. Under such circumstances, who could really fall asleep? Su Yusen looked at Li Qianxue with a conflicted expression. Mom, are you really going to break up with Su Peijian? He didn't manage to call out the word sister, but he felt a little awkward when he called out her full name. That was his sister who had grown up with him. What else? Li Qianxue had been willing to give Su Peijian some face, but now she had cut off the last bit of it. You heard what your brother-in-law said. Even if I don't make a statement, will he let your sister suffer? Not to mention Hua Jingyao. Even she wouldn't let Su Qingseng suffer again. Old Master Li didn't say a word. He didn't look too good. Although Su Peijian was no longer his granddaughter, they had been friends for so many years. However, none of them expected Su Peijian to do such a thing. The atmosphere in the living room was quite bad and heavy. Hua Jingyao's hostility faded a lot when he went upstairs and saw Su Qingsong's calm sleeping face. He sat down by the bed and gently stroked Su Qingsong's cheek. In such a short time, he almost experienced the pain of losing her again. Hua Jingyao leaned over and kissed Su Qingseng on the cheek. She didn't wake up. Instead, the corners of her lips curled up slightly because of his kiss. She didn't know what he was dreaming about, but Hua Jingyao's expression softened almost instantly. She didn't know what he was thinking about. Then it became sharp again. Su Peijian. This time, he was going to ruin her reputation. When Su Peijian opened her eyes, she felt a sharp pain in the back of her neck. She also had a strange feeling. She seemed to feel a little hot. She stretched and felt as if someone's skin was pressed against hers. Her sixth sense made her quickly open her eyes. The scene in front of her made her whole body freeze. What was going on? Beside her, two men lay on her left and right. Neither of the two men had any clothes on. Not only them, but she was also naked. Su Peijian's eyes widened. The last memory in her mind was that she was knocked unconscious by Qiu Yanba yesterday. Damn Qiu Yanba, how dare he knock her out? Su Peijian was furious. She raised her foot and was about to kick the man beside her off the bed. However, the man woke up at this moment. Miss Su, you're awake? The man was good-looking, but he looked a little effeminate. Su Peijian hated men like this the most. Get out of here. Su Peijian kicked the man's body. The man leaned to the side and quickly got up again. He approached Su Peijian. Miss Su, are you complaining that I didn't satisfy you yesterday? But I helped you call Hiro over. He should have satisfied you, right? As he spoke, Hiro also woke up. When he saw the scene in front of him, he immediately hugged Su Peijian. Miss Su, you're awake? Were you satisfied with my service yesterday? Get lost. Su Peijian raised her hand and was about to push the man away. Hiro hugged her tightly. Miss Su, if you're not satisfied, we can do it again today. With that, he hugged Su Peijian and was about to kiss her. How could Su Peijian let him have his way? She tilted her head, intending to slap the man. However, the man in front of her followed and held her hand. All right, Miss Su, don't be angry. We'll satisfy you now. Do you know who I am? Get out of here. Su Peijian was furious. She struggled to get up, but the two men just had their hands on her. Before she could break free, the door of the hotel room was suddenly opened. A large group of reporters rushed in. Su Peijian was instantly flustered. She quickly pulled up the blanket to cover her body. However, it was already a step too late. Those people had taken a lot of photos. You bunch of bastards, get out of here. Miss Su, may I ask how long you've been like this? Miss Su, did you call two gigolos at once because one couldn't satisfy you? Miss Su, did you become like this because you broke off your engagement with Mr. Chiu? Miss Su, what caused you to become like this? Miss Su, did these two gigolos have a long-term relationship with you? Miss Su, may I ask? Get out. All of you get out. If Su Peijian still didn't know that she had been set up by someone at this time, then she would have lived for more than 20 years in vain. She grabbed the pillow on the bed and threw it at the reporters. This action almost caused her to expose herself again. She had no choice but to cover her body with the blanket. If you don't get out now, wait for the lawyer's letter. Su Peijian said coldly, but the group of reporters ignored her and continued to take photos. If you continue to take photos, I will definitely make you suffer. Do you want me to remind you who I am? Su Peijian's voice couldn't make the reporters afraid at all. One of the reporters looked at Su Peijian. His voice sounded as if he was sympathetic. Miss Su, it seems that you really don't know. Your mother, who is the current CEO of the Li Corporation, just this morning, she has already announced that she has severed her relationship with you. What did you say? Su Peijian's eyes widened, and she looked at the reporter in disbelief. Say it again. I said, Your mother has already announced that she has severed her relationship with you. If you don't believe me, you can watch the news yourself. Su Peijian turned around and was about to look for her phone. But the reporters refused to leave. Instead, they interviewed the two gigolos. The one called Aquan seemed a little embarrassed. We were called over by Miss Su yesterday. In the past, she only called one. But now she feels that one is not enough to satisfy her. So she called me here too. By the way, when you want to publish, remember to censor it. Otherwise, I can also sue you for infringement. Su Peijian didn't have the mood to care about the nonsense of the two gigolos. She was almost naked, but she didn't have the mood to care. She found her phone on the bedside table and flipped through the news. Soon she saw Li Qinshua's statement. In that statement, Li Qinshu said that her behavior was wrong and that what she had done had brought shame to the family. Now, she especially severed her relationship with Su Peijian. From today onwards, Su Peijian was no longer the daughter of the Su family, nor was she the daughter of the Li family. And everything about the Li Corporation, the Su family, and the Li family had nothing to do with Su Peijian. There were two statements. One was a paper statement. It included the notarial certificate that Li Qinshu had handed over to the lawyer to deal with, to sever their relationship as mother and daughter. The other was a video interview. Li Qinshu sat in her own office in the Li Corporation and explained everything with a sorrowful and regretful attitude. Su Peijian sat there in a daze. She didn't even notice when the reporters finished their interviews and left. The room quieted down. The two gigolos had already put on their clothes and were about to leave. Stop. Su Peijian seemed to have only just reacted. She said coldly and glared at the two people in front of her. Ignoring the fact that she was still naked, she walked in front of the two people. Who asked you to come? Miss Su, wasn't it you who asked us to come? Hiro laughed, and it was a frivolous laugh. Su Peijian nodded. She raised her hand and slapped them in the face, one on the left and one on the right. Really? Did I ask you to come? Aquan was slapped. He tilted his head and wasn't angry. He looked at Su Peijian and chuckled. Are you angry? You were the one who asked us to come. Su Peijian gritted her teeth. What else did she not understand now? She had been put on a show. Needless to say, the person who had done this to her must be Hu Jingyao. Good, very good. Su Peijian gritted her teeth and suddenly pulled Aquan over. She lifted her leg and kicked him in the crotch. Aquan was in pain. Su Peijian glared at the man beside her with a cold gaze. Stop. The gigolo was shocked and quickly protected his important parts. Don't do anything rash. Otherwise, I'll call the police and sue you for intentional injury. Intentional injury? Su Peijian sneered. Before that, I'll sue you for rape. Su Peijian really couldn't take it lying down. She took out her phone, as if she was going to call the police. However, the man laughed as if he was mocking Su Peijian. Miss Su, you were the one who asked us to come. We still have the call records from your phone. How are you going to sue us? That's right. Aquan also reacted. He straightened his body and walked in front of Su Peijian. Miss Su, you were the one who asked us to come, and you were the one who asked us to serve you well. What? Are you not going to admit it now? Su Peijian was not angry. She raised her foot and kicked Aquan again. Aquan pulled another person up. She's crazy. Let's go quickly. Su Peijian's chest kept rising and falling. After everyone left, she screamed and was about to go crazy. Her reputation was now completely ruined. It was ruined by Hu Jingyao and Qiu Yanba. No, it was Hu Jingyao. If it wasn't for him, Qiu Yanba didn't have the guts. She gritted her teeth. Her breath was stuck there, and she almost vomited blood. Hu Jingyao, Su Qingseng, you guys are so ruthless. Really too ruthless. And Li Qinshu. Su Qingseng slept a little late. She had drunk alcohol and was drugged. When she woke up, she felt a headache. She opened her eyes. Before she could get up, a pair of hands rubbed her forehead. The strength was neither light nor heavy. It gently rubbed her forehead, making her feel very comfortable. She couldn't help but open her eyes to look. When she met Hu Jingyao's face, she suddenly smiled. Does your head still hurt? There's some hangover soup. Mom asked someone to make it. Drink it first. Su Qingsang blinked and didn't get up. It's so comfortable. Rub it for me a little longer. This person was even ordering him around. Hua Jinyao wasn't annoyed, but his hands didn't stop moving. Su Qingsang yawned. What time is it? It's almost lunchtime. What time did you say it was? I slept for so long. Fortunately, they were in Lin City and didn't have to go to work. Su Qingsang suddenly sat up again. How did I come back yesterday? Why can't I remember? Hua Jinyao looked at her. Sometimes, he really felt that Su Qingsang's vigilance was too weak. But who would have thought that Su Peijian would be so bold as to dare to hit him directly? Thinking of this, he felt that the punishment he gave her yesterday was too light. He had to make Su Peijian even more miserable, even more pathetic. However, Su Qingsang felt that something was wrong. I was knocked out yesterday, wasn't I? The only thing she could remember was that she had been knocked unconscious. Hua Jinyao looked at her, helped her up, and let her lean against him. After briefly explaining what Su Peijian had done, Su Qingsang's body froze and didn't move. Hua Jinyao looked at her without much worry in his eyes. What do you want to do? You can tell me. He only punished Su Peijian first, and let Su Qingsang do the rest. Su Qingsang's head still hurt a little. She looked at the hangover tea on the side, picked it up and drank it. When she felt a little better, she looked at Hua Jinyao. Can you tell me first what you did? Don't worry about what I did. Think about what kind of price you want her to pay first. I'll help you vent your anger. Su Qingsang glanced at him, and was about to say something. Xiaoyu had already come upstairs to ask them to go downstairs for dinner. Let's talk about this later. Su Qingsang didn't want to talk about Su Peijian for now. By the way, you didn't tell Mom, did you? Yes. Such a big thing of course had to be told. Su Qingsang was a little worried. My mom, What are you thinking? Do you think Mom will let Su Peijian go after doing such a thing? What did he mean? Su Qingsang quickly understood, because after dinner, she habitually swiped her phone. As a result, she saw the hottest news of the day. Su Peijian's news had now become the biggest news in Lin City. The former eldest daughter of the Su family has now been announced by her mother in the newspaper to dissolve their mother-daughter relationship. The eldest daughter of the Su family, Su Peijian, actually slept with 2 gigolos in one night. Her private life is a mess. The eldest daughter of the Su family is unrestrained, causing her mother to be dissatisfied. She dissolved their relationship. You don't know that the second-generation daughter of a wealthy family has a dissolute private life. She spent a night with 2 gigolos. The secrets of a wealthy family. The things that have to be said about the eldest daughter of the Su family. News like this filled Su Qingsang's screen after she got out of bed and got her phone. Su Qingsang was shocked by the news. She couldn't help but look at Hua Jinyao. Su Peijian had just dealt with her yesterday, and today she encountered such a thing. She would never believe that this had nothing to do with Hua Jinyao. You. Don't look at these news, there's nothing to see. This is you. Su Qingsang looked around. Old Master Li and Li Qianxue had already gone to the living room outside after dinner. At this time, only she and Hua Jinyao were in the corridor. It's me. Hua Jinyao's face was calm. Su Qingsang bit her lip. She hadn't thought about how to fight back against Su Peijian, but Hua Jinyao had already made the first move. You already dealt with her, and you still ask me what I plan to do? This doesn't count. This was not called dealing. Perhaps he should let Su Qingsang know what he would do if he really wanted to deal with someone. This is just a small punishment. If you still want to vent your anger, just tell me. Tell me what? She had nothing to say since he had already done what he had to do. Don't tell me that you sympathize with her. It's not sympathy. I don't have the energy to think about sympathizing with someone who wants to hurt me. I just feel a little emotional. If their identities hadn't been switched, if Su Peijian was still the eldest daughter of the Su family, then, even if she and Su Peijian couldn't be close on the surface, at least they wouldn't be at each other's throats today. I won't allow you to use kindness and sympathy on such a person. Hua Jinyao wrapped his arms around her waist and pulled her closer to him. Let me tell you, my punishment is already very light. I just gave her a taste of her own medicine. Chapter 602. The hooker incident this morning, coupled with Li Qinshua's statement, added together, had a huge impact. Even if Su Peijian was only an illegitimate daughter of the Su family, at least people didn't know about it publicly and would give her some face. The most direct effect now was to cut off Su Peijian's path of retreat. Because Su Peijian's face had been torn off, no one in the entire Lin city would give Su Peijian face in the future. In that case, even if she wanted to hurt Su Qingsang, she wouldn't have the ability to do so. Su Qingsang could think of these things, and also understood what such a punishment meant to Su Peijian. She didn't speak, but her expression seemed to be a little conflicted. Don't tell me you're still sympathizing with that woman. A woman like Su Peijian didn't deserve sympathy at all. Not to mention this time, hadn't she made things difficult for Su Qingsang in Rong City again and again? If Su Qingsang softened her heart to her, Hu Jinyao was afraid that he would be ruthless again. I didn't. Su Qingsang wasn't that kind of saint. If she really let Su Peijian have her way, the one who would be ruined now would be her. Then you don't seem happy? Su Qingsang shook her head. She didn't pity Su Peijian. She just thought of Xiang Kaiping. If Xiang Kaiping knew that Su Peijian had fallen into such a situation, what would she do? Qingsang, I just feel sorry for Auntie. Su Qingsang and Xiang Kaiping had been together for a few months. No matter what, there was affection. She didn't believe that Hu Jinyao didn't have any sympathy for Xiang Kaiping. Hu Jinyao was silent. From the beginning to the end, no matter what happened all these years, Xiang Kaiping was innocent. Moreover, Xiang Kaiping was indeed a good person. She was good to him and Su Qingsang. At that time, she also gave her heart and soul to them. Don't think about it. This isn't what you want. But I always feel that I've wronged her. Su Qingsang hugged Hu Jinyao's waist and whispered in a low voice. I always can't help but think that if I insisted on not saying it, if I pretended that nothing happened, if I continued to live with Auntie as my illegitimate daughter, would she have a much better life now? Don't think that. This is not your fault. Hu Jinyao wrapped his arms around her waist to give her strength and support. I know. Su Qingsang understood that none of this had anything to do with her, but she said, I can't control it. I can't help it. Before she left Rong City for Sea City, she went to see Xiang Kaiping. She didn't look well. What she was like when she was with us, and what she is like now. You didn't see it. If you had seen it, you would have seen it. Su Qingsang knew that Xiang Kaiping's loneliness had something to do with Su Peijian. With Su with Xiang. Whatever Su Peijian did was Su Peijian's business, but Xiang Kaiping was the one who had to bear the consequences. If Auntie finds out, she will break down. She had visited Xiang Kaiping a few times now. Even though Xiang Kaiping could not treat her as her daughter like she used to, her words and her entire demeanor showed that she was close to her. Su Qingsang Su Jinyao Hua. Su pressing she put her, with Su with she put it. I can't imagine what Auntie will do if she finds out. If you're worried about her, you can go back to Rong City to see her. I'm afraid my mom will be unhappy. She could tell that Li Qinshuo didn't like her being too close to Xiang Kaiping. I don't think so. Just don't let Mom know. Su Qingsang nodded. She looked up at Hu Jinyao. Sometimes, I feel like I can't handle anything well. I can't seem to do anything right. She should be close to Li Qinshuo, but she always worried about Xiang Kaiping. She knew that it would make Li Qinshuo unhappy, but she couldn't care less. You've done a good job. Hu Jinyao rubbed her hair and said softly. Don't think too much. Su Qingsang glanced at Hu Jinyao. I don't want to, but I have to see Auntie when I go back. Su Peijian has no future in Lin City, so she can only go back to Rong City. When that time comes, you can tell Auntie what she did. I believe she will understand. Forget it. Let's not talk about it. Su Qingsang shook her head. She couldn't bear it. Although Auntie is not very old, her health is not very good. I won't let her worry if I can. Let's not talk about it. I said it's up to you. Hu Jinyao's words made Su Qingsang cast a sidelong glance at him. She seemed to be a little dissatisfied. You take after me all the time. Why don't I see you giving me an idea? Su Qingsang asked. Honey, you've really wronged me. Don't you know that I have no bottom line when it comes to you? Of course, I will do whatever you say. Su Qingseng finally had a smile on her face. She punched Hua Jinyao's chest. Let's go. Grandpa and the others are still outside. Okay. Hua Jinyao and Su Qingseng went out to the living room. They didn't notice that Li Qianxue was standing at the other end of the corridor. Her face was a little pale. Su Peijian was in her apartment. She looked at the TV screen in front of her. Her news was not only on the hot search list but also on TV. She really didn't know that Su Peijian was so famous. There were many wine bottles on the coffee table in front of her, and a third of them were already empty. Su Peijian poured herself a glass of wine. Before she could drink it, the doorbell rang. Su Peijian didn't want to open the door, but the doorbell kept ringing. Su Peijian looked impatient, but she still stood up to open the door. Unexpectedly, the person outside the door was Su Qinghui. Seeing that it was Su Qinghui, Su Peijian smiled. What are you doing here? Are you here to laugh at me? Su Qinghui thought of today's news and couldn't believe that the woman on the news was his daughter. Peijian, aren't you in Rong City? Why are you back? And how did you become like this? You, Mr. Su. Su Peijian interrupted him. If I remember correctly, you broke off your father-daughter relationship with me a long time ago. So, in what capacity are you lecturing me now? When did I say that I broke off my relationship with you? Did I remember wrongly? Su Peijian sneered. Why do I remember that when I was in Rong City, you said that I had nothing to do with you? Su Peijian. He didn't say that. He said that Su Peijian had nothing to do with the Li family. All right. What do you want to teach me? Say it now. Su Peijian leaned against the door. She had no intention of letting Su Qinghui in. Su Qinghui looked at her face. Her indifferent attitude shocked him. How did you become like this? Not only her attitude, but her face was also really ugly. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her face looked a little gray. He also smelled the alcohol on Su Peijian. What did I become? Su Qingseng sneered. What? Did you come here today to avenge your precious daughter? Then come on. I'm all ears. You can leave when you're done. Avenge who? Su Qinghui didn't understand. I'm talking about today's news. How could you be so depraved? Depraved? Su Peijian laughed. Her voice was very cold. Am I depraved? Why don't you ask your good son-in-law what he did? What do you mean? What do I mean? Su Peijian's lips were full of mockery. Do you think I'm that hungry and thirsty? So hungry and thirsty that I had to call a prostitute? Su Qinghui was silent. Of course, he didn't want to believe that the daughter he raised would do such a thing. Because of this, Su Qinghui came to her and wanted to ask for clarification. Yesterday, your good son-in-law called a prostitute for me. I was knocked out, and he hit me when I was down. Su Qinghui's eyes widened. He didn't believe Su Peijian's words. That's impossible. Fine, if you say it's impossible, then it's impossible. Please. I have nothing to say to you. Su Qinghui stood still. His face was full of pain as he looked at Su Peijian's current state. You Peijian. Tell me honestly, what did you do? If you didn't do anything, why would Hua Jinyao target you? Mr. Su. Your question is so strange. What did I do? What can I do now? Don't forget that Su Qingseng is now the wife of the president of Tianyu Group. Hua Jinyao is the president of Tianyu Group. What can I do? You should ask Hua Jinyao what he did. He just dealt with Hua Yifan a few days ago and drove him out of the Hua family. Now it's my turn. Mr. Su, I also want to ask something. Is it that after I'm no longer the daughter of the Li family, I'm not even a human anymore? I don't even have the right to stand in the same city and breathe the same sky as them? Su Qinghui didn't understand. He could guess that things weren't that simple. All right. Anyway, I already know that whether it's you or Li Qianxue, you don't see me as your daughter anymore. In that case, you don't have to come here to express your fake concern. I don't need it. Peijian. Su Qinghui had a lot to say, but now he didn't know what to say. He looked a little conflicted. He was more heartbroken than helpless about Su Peijian becoming like this. Go abroad. Which country do you want to go to? I'll help you with the procedures. You can leave here and live abroad. You can, Mr. Su. You have nothing to do with me anymore. In that case, Where I go and how I live has nothing to do with you. Now please, you're not welcome here. Peision? Su Qinghui really felt that it would be better for Su Qingsang to leave here and start over. Please. Unfortunately, Su Peision didn't want to give him such a chance. She closed the door with a bang. Su Qinghui looked at the closed door for a long time. He raised his hand and put it down again. Finally, he left helplessly. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao stayed in Lin City for another 2 days before returning to Rong City. Su Qingsang was fine. She participated in the rescue, so the hospital gave her a holiday. She would even be praised when she returned. However, Hua Jinyao had been out for so many days, and his work had been delayed a lot. Although he had dealt with a lot of work through email and video conferences, there were still many things that needed to be solved when he returned. Especially when he heard yesterday that Hua Yifan had gone to look for Hua Mingguang. After coming out of Hua Mingguang's office, Hua Yifan actually returned to Tianyu Group. Although he was no longer the vice president, Hua Mingguang gave him a special team. It had only been 2 days, and the situation had changed so much. Hua Jinyao really wanted to know what kind of plan Hua Yifan had come up with to make Hua Mingguang pay so much attention to it. After dinner, Old Master Li called Hua Jinyao to the study to play chess. When Li Qianxue entered the door, she saw Su Qingsang packing her luggage. In fact, there weren't many things. Most of them were gifts that Li Qianxue and Old Master Li had asked Su Qingsang to bring to Old Master Hua. Mom! Seeing Li Qianxue enter the door, Su Qingsang put down the things in her hands. Why aren't you sleeping yet? I came to see you. To talk to you. Li Qianxue looked at Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang had been resting well these past few days. Her complexion was much better than when she had just returned from the disaster area. You're leaving tomorrow. I really can't bear to part with you. I can't bear to part with you either. In the past few days, Li Qianxue had been treating her well in all kinds of ways. She had been very considerate in all aspects of clothing, food, housing, and transportation. She knew that Li Qianxue was good to her, and was very grateful. Mom, don't worry. It's only 2 hours from Rong City to Lin City. I'll come back to see you often when I'm free. Besides, you can come and see me when you're not busy. 2 hours isn't a long time, but it's another city after all. I'm not by your side. I'm always afraid that you won't be able to take care of yourself. How can that be? I'm not a child. In my eyes, you're no different from a child. Li Qianxue also knew about what had happened this time. She was already very disappointed with Su Peision. You ran into something like that when you went out for a meal. Qingsang, do you understand how I feel? I'm really worried about you. Mom, I'll be more careful next time. Su Qingsang also knew that she had been careless this time. But how did she know that Su Peision would do such a thing? I promise, there won't be a next time. Don't worry. Li Qianxue knew that she was simple-minded. When it came to scheming, she was afraid that she was no match for Su Peision. Su Peision had nothing now. She was afraid that she would hit the bottom, and when that time came, she would go crazy. Why don't you go back to Rong City and ask Hua Jinyao to find 2 people to follow you and protect you? Mom. Su Qingsang touched her forehead. I'm a doctor. Do you think it's appropriate for me to have 2 bodyguards? How is it inappropriate? Your safety is always the first priority. Mom. Su Qingsang was extremely helpless. Don't worry, I really will protect myself. I'll be careful next time I go out. She would naturally be careful when she went out. But what if she sent herself to the door? She heard the conversation between Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao that day. She knew that Su Qingsang would have to visit Xiang Kaiping after returning to Rong City. No matter how angry Li Qianxue was about this, it was useless. Xiang Kaiping recognized Su Qingsang first. She and Su Qingsang had feelings for each other. But Xiang Kaiping was Su Peision's biological mother. Now Su Peision had become like this because of them. Su Qingsang had good intentions and sympathized with Xiang Kaiping. But what if Xiang Kaiping felt that she and Hua Jinyao had caused Su Peision to become like this and wanted to take revenge? Li Qianxue didn't want to think too much of people, but as a parent, she had to be more worried. Mom. Su Qingsang's voice brought Li Qianxue back to her senses. She looked at Su Qingsang and was about to tell her not to visit Xiang Kaiping when she returned to Rong City. It wasn't that she was stingy or jealous. That was part of the reason. But more than that, she was worried that Xiang Kaiping might hurt Su Qingsang because of Su Peijian. However, before she could say anything, Xiu Yu came upstairs and said that Su Qinghui was here. As soon as she heard that Su Qinghui was here, Li Qianxue's face suddenly darkened. What is he doing here? Kick him out. The Li family doesn't welcome him. Madam Sir said that he's here to see Miss Su. When Su Qingsang went downstairs, Su Qinghui was sitting on the sofa in the living room. There was a big box in front of him. It was obvious what was inside. Dad. Qingsang. Su Qingsang walked to Su Qinghui and sat down opposite him. How did you know I was here? I asked around and found out. Thinking of what happened to Su Peijian the day before yesterday, Su Qinghui couldn't help but look at Su Qingsang a few more times. His eyes were calm, and his expression was peaceful. It didn't seem like anything had happened. Qingsang, have you seen Peijian recently? Peijian? No. She was just drugged by Su Peijian and wanted to destroy her innocence. The two of them really didn't touch each other. No. If she hadn't seen Su Peijian, didn't that mean that the two of them didn't have a conflict? Yes. Su Qingsang raised her eyebrows and was a little confused. Dad, why are you asking this? You should have heard about what happened to Peijian, right? I know a little. Knowing a little meant that she knew a lot. Su Qinghui looked at Su Qingsang, as if he was trying to find out her real thoughts. Did Hua Jingyao do that? Yes. It was indeed Hua Jingyao's doing. Su Qingsang didn't want to deny it. Su Qinghui's face turned red for a moment. He sat there and almost fell into a gloomy atmosphere. You guys. He suddenly stood up and looked at Su Qingsang. Why? Why what? Su Qingsang didn't seem to understand. Why did you do this? Su Qinghui knew that he had made a big mistake, but at this moment, he really felt that his heart was stuck. He couldn't let it go up or down. He walked back and forth 2 steps, then suddenly stopped and stared at Su Qingsang. You guys can't tolerate her so much? Just because she made things difficult for you at the Tianyu Group's banquet last time? Su Qingsang didn't answer Su Qinghui's words. She looked at Su Qinghui and sighed in her heart. No matter how speechless Su Qinghui was about Su Peijian's actions, in his heart he still thought about Su Peijian. He had pure father-daughter feelings for her. Qingsang, why didn't I know that you guys have become like this? They found Su Peijian a gigolo and ruined her reputation. They even made Li Qianxue issue a statement to sever their mother-daughter relationship. You guys are too ruthless. Su Qingsang didn't say anything. She had always known that in Su Qinghui's heart, she couldn't compare to Su Peijian. Therefore, she was too lazy to refute the accusations against him and the blame he had now. Su Qinghui knew that he owed Su Qingsang a lot, but this debt was caused by him, not by Su Peijian. Qingsang, no matter what, Peijian is your sister. She is innocent in this matter. How can you do this? What's wrong with Qingsang? Li Qianxue went downstairs and happened to hear the last few words. Her expression suddenly changed. Su Qinghui, tell me, how is Qingsang vicious? Su Qinghui looked at Li Qianxue. At this moment, her eyes were sharp and aggressive. For a moment, he almost thought that the two of them had returned to the scene of tit-for-tat. Qianxue, I know you hate me. I also know that I am the one who caused all the fault. But no matter what, Peijian was raised by you. Don't you think it's too ruthless to treat her like this? Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue had long given up on Su Qinghui and no longer loved this man. However, his accusations, especially his accusations against Su Qingsang, made Li Qianxue extremely angry. Su Qinghui, who are you calling ruthless? She took 2 steps forward. Her aggressive appearance made Su Qingsang a little worried. She stood up as if she wanted to stop Li Qianxue, but Li Qianxue waved her hand away. She stood in front of Su Qinghui. The expression on her face was disdain, disgust, and deep hatred. Su Qinghui, who can be more ruthless than you? Who can be more ruthless than you and your daughter? Ha! You say I'm ruthless, and you say Qingsang is ruthless? Why don't you say how ruthless you were when you replaced my daughter? Su Qinghui's lips moved. He wanted to say that he already knew he was wrong and had been punished. However, Li Qianxue didn't give him a chance at all. Yes. Now that you've come to my door and accused Qingsang, why don't you think about your good daughter, your precious daughter? What did she do? If I was really ruthless, I would have broken off all relations with Su Peijian long ago, after I came back from Rong City. Why didn't I? I cared about the last bit of mother-daughter love, but what about Su Peijian? Do you want to hear what she did? Before you blame Qingsang, why don't you first ask what Su Peijian did to Qingsang? Every time she asked a question, she took a step forward. Su Qinghui was repeatedly questioned by her. He had already retreated to the corner of the sofa. Qianxue you. Su Qinghui thought of Su Peijian's grievances, and how she had lost everything. Now even her reputation was ruined. For the past 2 days, the trending searches on Weibo and the local news had been reporting on this matter. There was no sign of the popularity subsiding at all. Su Qinghui still felt sorry for Su Peijian when he thought of her hiding in the house and drinking alone. She was the child that he had raised, so he wanted to ask Su Qingsang about it. Of course, he also hoped that the relationship between the two sisters could be eased and not become like enemies. However, looking at Li Qianxue's attitude now, he suddenly felt a little uncertain and a little panicked. That panic made the way he looked at Li Qianxue changed. Chapter 603. Don't call me that. You calling my name makes me want to vomit. Li Qianxue's words were sharp and merciless. She looked at Su Qinghui and pointed at the door. Get out of here. Qianxue, do you have to do this? Can't we talk it out? Talk it out? Who wants to talk it out with you? Have you talked it out with Qingsang? Li Qianxue thought of all the good things Su Peijian had done, and all the grievances Su Qingsang had suffered. Okay, if you want to talk it out, I'll talk it out with you. You should know what good things your precious daughter has done. With a cold face, she suppressed the anger in her heart, and briefly told him what Su Peijian had done a few days ago. She was satisfied to see Su Qinghui's expression change. Qianxue, what did you say? Was this true? He couldn't help but look at Su Qingsang, and found that her face was indifferent. Obviously, she was also dissatisfied with him now. Li Qianxue sneered. She was still partial to him. How could he come to her door and criticize her daughter like this? That was enough. What did I say? Do you think I would lie to you? Li Qianxue sneered. Let me tell you, I don't want to do such a thing. As she spoke, she turned to look at Su Qingsang. Her eyes were full of pity and guilt. If Qingsang hadn't been lucky enough to meet Qiu Yanba, if Su Peijian had just asked a man to hurt Qingsang, would Qingsang still be standing here today? Of course, this era was much more tolerant of women. But what was Su Qingsang's status now? She was the wife of the president of Tianyu Group, the eldest granddaughter-in-law of the Hua family. Hua Jinyao was just giving her a taste of her own medicine. You came here just like that, and criticized your other daughter, in order to help her vent her anger. Su Qinghui, you are such a good father to Qingsang. Su Qinghui's expression had changed a few times. He didn't expect things to turn out like this. He asked Su Qingsang just now, and she said that she had never seen Su Peijian. Su Qingsang stood to the side and didn't say anything. She was a little helpless. She looked at Su Qinghui without the intimacy at first. Su Qinghui felt uncomfortable under her gaze. Why didn't you say it just now? If she had said it, he wouldn't have misunderstood. You started blaming Qingsang as soon as you came in. What do you want her to say? Li Qianxue was so angry that she almost laughed. Su Qinghui, you're really biased. Su Peijian is your daughter. But Qingsang is not your daughter, is she? Su Qinghui was speechless. He looked at the anger on Li Qianxue's face, and knew that he had messed up again. Qianxue, I seem to remember telling you that you owe Qingsang a lot. You owe her your whole life. Su Qinghui, do you know that the person you should compensate the most is Qingsang? But how did you do it? You allowed Su Peijian to hurt her. You allowed her to scheme against Qingsang. In your heart, you don't even see Qingsang as your daughter. Su Qinghui stood there awkwardly. Qianxue, I didn't. You didn't? Let's not talk about what Su Peijian did. Hua Jingyao only punished her a little. Even if I really wanted to deal with Su Peijian, so what? Li Qianxue was also angry. She said without thinking, she's been occupying Qingsang's place for so many years and wronged Qingsang for so many years. Even if I want to break off relations with her, so what? Her attitude was sharp and aggressive. With every word she said, the anger on her face grew. Su Qinghui kept retreating. He knew that he had made a mistake this time. Qingsang, I'm sorry. He turned to look at Li Qianxue, and the expression in his eyes became more and more obscure. Qianxue, I'm sorry. Sorry? I don't need it. Li Qianxue didn't accept it at all. Those 3 words were too cheap. You're always like this. After you hurt someone, you always say sorry so casually. How can there be such a good thing in this world? You want others to forgive you just because you say sorry? You want them to forget all the mistakes you've done? I didn't mean that. Su Qinghui was very regretful. He seemed to be wrong again. Time and time again. He had clearly decided that no matter what happened, he would stand by Li Qianxue's side. But now, things had turned out like this. This was his fault. He wanted to apologize, but the word sorry really became too light. Qianxue, I promise I won't do this in the future. No need. Su Qinghui, we don't need your future. We can live a better life without you. Li Qianxue pointed at the door again as she spoke. Su Qinghui, get lost. You're not welcome here. Su Qinghui looked at Li Qianxue, and his lips moved. He wanted to explain, but he didn't know how to explain. He originally wanted to repair his relationship with Li Qianxue, but recently, these things happened one after another. Not only did he fail to repair his relationship with Li Qianxue, but it also made the relationship between the two of them worse and worse. This was something Su Qinghui didn't expect, and didn't want to see. Qianxue. Could she give him another chance? So that he could make up for his mistakes? He really knew that he was wrong. I said get lost. Li Qianxue was very angry. She was really tired of Su Qinghui. Su Qinghui, go feel sorry for your precious daughter. You don't treat Qingsang as your daughter anyway. Also, we're divorced. Whether it's me or Qingsang from now on, we have nothing to do with you. Please don't appear in front of us again. I'm not. Su Qinghui wanted to defend himself, but Li Qianxue didn't want to listen. She pushed Su Qinghui and asked someone to chase him out. The people who worked in the Li family all knew that Su Qinghui was the original master. But at this moment, they also looked embarrassed. Su Qinghui looked at this situation and knew that it was useless for him to stay any longer. He could only plan for the future. He looked at Li Qianxue and wanted to say something, but he hesitated. So many words were stuck in his throat. In the end, he helplessly lowered his shoulders and left, looking dispirited. After he left, Li Qianxue walked to the sofa and sat down. Her condition wasn't much better than Su Qinghui's. She looked extremely tired. But soon she stood up again. Looking at Su Qingsang standing beside her, she went forward and hugged her. She didn't say anything, but her expression was full of guilt. Mom, don't be angry. Compared with Li Qianxue's anger, Su Qingsang's sadness and discomfort only lasted for a while. She had long been used to it. She was used to Su Qinghui not caring about her. He didn't care about her either. She didn't feel very sad. What made her uncomfortable was Li Qianxue's attitude. Imperceptibly, her relationship with Su Qinghui seemed to be getting worse and worse. Li Qianxue shook her head. She stepped back a little and patted Su Qingsang's cheek. Okay, you continue to pack your things. I'll go with you. Mom, don't worry, I'm fine. She had already gotten over the biggest blow. This situation couldn't hurt her anymore. She just felt wronged for Su Qingsang. Qingsang, I'm sorry. Su Qingsang shook her head and took Li Qianxue's hand upstairs. Mom, let's go. Accompany me to pack my luggage. Didn't you have something to say to me just now? Li Qianxue thought of what she was about to say just now, and her lips moved. If you go back to Rong City, remember. Yes? Remember to be on guard against Su Peijian. Not only her, but we have to stay away from people related to her. Li Qianxue still said it in the end. She believed that Su Qingsang would understand. Okay. Su Qingsang nodded and didn't object. Mom, don't worry. I won't let Su Peijian have a chance to bully me again. Besides, I don't think she can care about it now. After this incident, it was basically impossible for Su Peijian to marry into the Hua family. Her reputation in Lin City had already been ruined. She believed that she wouldn't be able to cause any waves. Mom, I'm not saying that you have to think so badly of her. It's just that she's no longer the Su Peijian from before. I'm always afraid that she'll hurt you again if there's a chance. Don't worry. Mom, I know. I know what I'm doing. That's good. Li Qianxue reminded her again and again. But no matter how worried she was, Su Qingsang still had to go to Rong City with Hua Jinyao. Now, she could only remind Hua Jinyao again and ask him to protect Su Qingsang. It was already afternoon when Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang got off the plane. The two of them got into Yang Wenchang's car. Hua Jinyao asked Su Qingsang to go home and rest while he went to the company. Su Qingsang knew that he must have a lot of work to deal with during this period. So she didn't argue with him. She just said that she could go to the old house. She brought a gift from home for old Master Hua. And since she was back, she had to say hello to Lu Tongjia. Hua Jinyao didn't object. He asked Yang Wenchang to send him to the company first, and then to send Su Qingsang to the Hua family. It was such a coincidence that he entered the Tianyu group. Hua Yifan happened to come downstairs. Several people followed behind him. Hua Jinyao glanced at them and saw a few familiar faces. He remembered that these people were from the research and development team. But now they were all following behind Hua Yifan. Hua Jinyao narrowed his eyes slightly, and Hua Yifan naturally saw him. He spoke to his secretary next to him, and the group of people stood there without moving. He walked straight to Hua Jinyao. Brother, you're back. Hua Jinyao looked relaxed and chuckled. Yes, I'm back. You're not the only one back. I'm back too. There was a double meaning in his words. Hua Jinyao nodded. Yes, I can see that. It was Uncle who asked me to come back. Hua Yifan added with a smile. Speaking of which, Uncle seems to be still in the company today. Do you want to go upstairs to look for him? There was an invisible intimacy in his voice, as if he was Hua Mingguang's son. Hua Jinyao wouldn't argue with Hua Yifan over such a boring matter. He took a step to the side. You seem to be going out. Please. Yes. The research and development team has been very helpful these days. Everyone has worked hard. I said I'd treat them to a meal and reward them. By the way, you probably don't know the case we're working on now, do you? It doesn't matter. Uncle has a copy of my plan. You can ask him to show it to you. I don't mind. After saying this, Hua Yifan went back to the group of people. Compared to the past, the pride on his face couldn't be concealed. Hua Jinyao narrowed his eyes and watched Hua Yifan leave with the group of people. Finally, he stepped forward and went to the president's exclusive elevator. Hua Mingguang was indeed in the company today. Hua Jinyao entered the door and looked him up and down. He found that Hua Jinyao was only slightly tanned, and he seemed to be in good spirits. You still know to come back. Putting the documents in his hand aside, Hua Mingguang's voice was indeed a little dissatisfied. Don't you think about who you are? You came so far away to do good deeds. Why? Is there no good deeds in Rong City for you to do? Hua Jinyao didn't answer his question. He took a few steps forward and sat down opposite Hua Mingguang. When I came up just now, I ran into Hua Yifan. The accusation on Hua Mingguang's face suddenly disappeared. He looked at Hua Jinyao with an uncomfortable expression. Dad, I really want to know what method he used to persuade you to let him re-enter Tianyu. Jinyao. Hua Mingguang's voice was filled with helplessness. Yifan is your cousin. Yes, he's my cousin. A cousin who thinks of ways to pull me down from the position of president all day long. A cousin who wants to replace me all the time. Jinyao. Hua Mingguang's expression became serious. What nonsense are you talking about? What happened last time was a moment of confusion. All these years, he can be considered to have done his best for the company. Why do you keep staring at his shortcomings? Hua Jinyao's lips were pursed into a straight line. He stared straight at Hua Mingguang, making Hua Mingguang feel a little uncomfortable. He finally spoke. Dad, Hua Yifan is your son, right? What are you saying? Hua Mingguang was angry. Do you think I'm deliberately favoring him? That's because he's really good at things. As he spoke, he took out a plan from the drawer. I knew you wouldn't be convinced. So I asked him to leave a copy of the plan for me. You can take a good look at it yourself. Hua Jinyao took the plan from his hand. He didn't believe that Hu Yifan could have any good ideas. What he should do during this period of time was to hide in a corner and keep a low profile. However, after flipping through a few pages of the plan, his expression immediately changed. He glanced at Hua Mingguang with obvious shock in his eyes. You mean this was done by Hu Yifan? What else? Hua Mingguang raised his eyebrows. He was quite dissatisfied with his son's doubts. I've said it before. Yifan has real talent. You look down on him like this and target him everywhere. He still wants to do his part for the company. Hua Jinyao slapped the plan in front of Hua Mingguang. Dad, I only found out today that it's not only my mother who doesn't treat me as a son. She wants me to die back then. It turns out that you're the same. Hua Mingguang's expression suddenly became very ugly. He glared at Hua Jinyao. What nonsense are you talking about? Is it nonsense? Hua Jinyao placed his hands on the edge of the desk and leaned forward a little. He glared at Hua Mingguang and said very softly, Dad, Hu Yifan is a traitor. He even tried his best to deal with me and embarrass me. In your eyes, it's me who looks down on him and targets him everywhere? Aren't you being so biased because you wish that I was the one who died back then? Hua Jinyao. Hua Mingguang was so angry that his face turned red. Shut up. I'll shut up after you finish speaking. Hua Jinyao stood up straight. It's been so many years. No matter how hard Mom has tried to make things difficult for me, you've never spoken up for me. I always thought that maybe you didn't want to be stuck between Mom and me. Or maybe you just wanted to take care of Mom's emotions. Only now do I know that you're the same as Mom. You blame me, hate me, and wish that I was the one who died. Hua Mingguang's expression was very ugly, but Hua Jinyao felt bored. He looked at the plan again, turned around, and left without saying a word. He returned to his office and dealt with some of the work that had piled up. Looking at the time, it was already late. Just as he was about to get off work, Yang Wenchang came back from sending Su Qingseng back to the old mansion. President Hua. Yang Wenchang had to stay in Rong City to deal with some matters. So when Hua Jinyao went to the disaster area, he returned after delivering 2 trips of supplies. Yang Wenchang saw that Hu Yifan had returned to the company in the past few days, and he was really angry. As soon as Hua Jinyao returned, he couldn't wait to report Hu Yifan's recent actions and movements to him. After saying that, Yang Wenchang added, Manager Hua has been really arrogant recently. He acts as if he's still the vice president of the company. Hua Jinyao's hand unconsciously tapped the table. After Yang Wenchang finished speaking, he glanced at him. Don't worry about his attitude for now. Go and investigate something. What? Where did Hu Yifan's plan for AI come from? Yang Wenchang was stunned for a moment. Hu Yifan had recently set up a department that specialized in research and development. He had never known what medicine he was selling. However, he didn't expect it to be related to AI. Such an extremely promising and cutting-edge plan is definitely not something Hu Yifan could produce. Go and find out who he has been in contact with recently. Okay. Also, have someone continue to keep an eye on Su Peijian. Although Su Peijian was still in Lin City, she would probably return to Rong City soon. After all, there was no place for her in Lin City. However, there was still Hu Yifan in Rong City. Yes. Yang Wenchang nodded. Hua Jinyao thought for a moment and stopped him. By the way, find 2 bodyguards to protect Qingsong's safety. Yang Wenchang was stunned for a moment. President Hua, just protect her in the dark. There's no need to protect her in the open. Qingseng doesn't like people following her. Yes. After giving out all the orders, Hua Jinyao leaned against the back of the chair. He knew how much information Hu Yifan had in his mind. He was indeed talented, but Hua Jinyao didn't believe that he could come up with such a plan. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.